Chapter 1661 Repaying a Debt of Gratitude. The result of the fifth round made the yellow-scaled merman dazed on the spot. His eyes were about to pop out. If he was not witnessing this personally, he would not believe it. He remembered clearly that this was the GU worm carcass that he had put in the fake rock, but why? Why? Why was this GU worm carcass not in his hands but in his opponent's hands? The yellow-scaled merman could not understand. Is this all an illusion? He was going crazy, his pale face surged with redness. He suddenly pointed at Shaolin as he screamed in a shrill voice, "You cheated!" The mermaid girl Shaolin heard this and became enraged. She was also kept in the dark, not knowing of Fang Yuan's methods. She shouted, "You lost fair and square, are you going to deny that in front of everyone?" The yellow-scaled merman looked at Shaolin and the surrounding GU masters, his gaze became hollow as he muttered, "No, this is not real, everything is fake, this is an illusion." He stumbled back and wanted to run away from this cruel reality. Looking at his pitiful demeanor, the surrounding GU masters had complex expressions, they looked at Shaolin with trepidation and wariness. The yellow-scaled merman was almost mentally broken by Fang Yuan. Shaolin pursued, "Let's transact, you did not win a single round, this golden jade house is mine." The yellow-scaled merman shuddered like he was shocked with lightning, he screamed in response, "No, this is mine, this is my foundation, I will not give it to anyone. Don't even think about it, you can have it over my dead body." "Sir, we can force them to go down with us." The scarred merman came up and said with a sinister expression. The yellow-scaled merman shook again. He wanted to do that, but hearing these words, he realized something. No matter who it is, this mermaid girl is just a pawn. The other party could manipulate this situation remotely, setting up a trap against me that I could not deal with. How can I face someone of such a magnitude? If I fight now, wouldn't I be courting death? The yellow-scaled merman did not want to give up his golden jade house, but compared to his life, the latter was more important. The yellow-scaled merman looked around him, instincts told him that the enemy was among this crowd. He felt suspicious of everyone, but he could not confirm their identity. "I admit my loss, I lose." Suddenly, he stopped his methods as he sprawled on the ground like a dying fish, shouting loudly. He prostrated on the ground, admitting, "No matter who you are, I admit my defeat, is that enough? You can do anything with me, but before that, may you please enlighten me, when did I offend you?" Everyone went into a clamor. The yellow-scaled merman's actions were unexpected, some people snorted in disdain, some felt that he was able to put down his pride and was quite a formidable person. An unscrupulous merchant that had been in power for decades was naturally not so simple. Shaolin was also dazed, at the same time, she felt deep admiration towards Master Chu. She understood clearly that this was all due to Master Chu, without his guidance, Shaolin would be in even deeper trouble than the yellow-scaled merman. But looking at the prostrating yellow-scaled merman, Shaolin felt joyful and also relieved. "It is time," Fang Yuan smiled, guiding Shaolin. Shaolin spoke to the yellow-scaled merman, "Do you know why you lost?" Seeing her speak, the crowd went silent. The yellow-scaled merman raised his head, looking at Shaolin, "I do not know, please enlighten me." "Because someone wanted you to lose." Shaolin stated an obvious fact. The yellow-scaled merman's heart jumped, he lowered his head, I understand, I understand." Shaolin added, "Do you want this golden jade house back?" "What?" The yellow-scaled merman was stunned, what did she mean? Of course he wanted it back, but he did not know about the other party, what did they mean by that? Were they toying with him or had ulterior motives? Shaolin continued, "I have a condition before I return it to you." The yellow-scaled merman started to kowtow, "Revered lady, please tell me." Shaolin looked at the yellow-scaled merman as she said slowly, "The reason why you ended up like this was because of just desserts, you committed too many sins. From now on, you have to commit acts of kindness, do good deeds and turn over a new leaf, I will let you off and return this golden jade house. But remember, if you return to your old ways, we will take not just this golden jade house next time." Once she said that, all the GU masters showed perplexed expressions. After so much talk, Shaolin and her backer actually had such intentions. They were promoting kindness. This was not a common thing. The yellow-scaled merman was also surprised, but he did not dare to show anything on the surface. He quickly thanked her profusely, "I will change, I will definitely turn over a new leaf. Revered lady, you are the benefactor of my life, you changed my ways. You are like a saintess guiding people towards kindness and away from evil. I was wrong, I was really wrong, Thank you, Saintess, for giving me this chance. From now on, I will be a good person and dedicate my life to doing good deeds. The yellow-scaled merman lowered his head and apologized sincerely. He was like a pitiful child. Shaolin's face flushed. I am not the Saintess, I have no qualification to be one, don't spout nonsense. Remember your promise, we will be watching you. If we find out or anyone reports you in the future, you will regret it. Saying so, Shaolin turned around and left. The surrounding GU masters left a path for her. Shaolin had just left the Golden Jade House when she suddenly vanished without a trace. At the next moment, she appeared at the edge of the island through Fang Yuan's teleportation. It's safe here, you can go back now. Fang Yuan did not show up, he only transmitted his voice. Master Chu, you saved me again, how can I repay you? Shaolin called out in her mind, Master Chu. Master Chu. We will meet again if we are fated to. Fang Yuan said as he smiled, memories emerging in his mind again. On the beach, Fang Yuan chased after Xie Hanmo and the rest who were leaving. Please wait. Xie Hanmo and the rest stopped walking, while the two guards stared at Fang Yuan in annoyance. Lad, stop following us. If you want to repay the debt of gratitude, you should get away from us. Do you know that Saintess could have stayed hidden this time, but to save you, she showed up. Now, we failed to find any evidence and even made the other party alert. I know, Fang Yuan was panting. You know nothing. The blue-scaled guard rolled his eyes. Fang Yuan chuckled, raising his head and looking at Xie Hanmo and the guards. I was too rash, but after that, I understand now. You are the Merman Imperial Court's current generation Saintess, you came here to find evidence of Frost-Tide Tribe's corruption. I can help you in this matter. Because I operated gambling dens before, I know about their workings. The main avenue for this Frost-Tide Tribe's money laundering has to be that gambling den earlier. Please give me a chance Saintess, let me repay the debt of saving my life. Both guards hesitated, they looked at Xie Hanmo. Xie Hanmo's thick eyelashes drooped down, before she opened her eyes and looked at Fang Yuan with a crystal-clear gaze. After 3 breaths of time, she nodded, then I will thank you in advance, human GU master. What is your name? My name is GU Fang Yuan. You can call me Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Chapter 1662, Competition for Saintess. Time passed quickly, more than 20 days passed again. Before the merit obelisk, Fang Yuan looked at the rankings with his arms behind his back. His position had fallen to 5th already. Initially, he was at the front, but changes started to occur. GU Immortals realized that as long as they looked into this merit obelisk, they would be able to find many options. These options had price tags, one could use their accumulated merits to exchange for them. Immortal materials, Immortal GU, Immortal GU recipes, Immortal killer moves, and even Immortal GU house, they were all available. With the merits that Miao Mingshen and the rest had, they could only exchange for the stuff at the bottom of the list. Those expensive options were like carrots dangling above the donkey, they made these GU Immortals very proactive. Competition was getting more intense. Fang Yuan's focus was not that, his only goal was Regret GU. Regret GU was very important to Fang Yuan. Even though the items in the merit obelisk were very valuable, they were merely icing on the cake for Fang Yuan. Regret GU could help Fang Yuan gain a qualitative change. But among these rewards, there was neither Regret GU nor the exchange of merit obelisk itself. This meant that the rewards listed were not fully comprehensive. Regret GU was not part of the rewards, but that did not mean that Regret GU was not inside this paradise. Fang Yuan did not waste his time, he looked for clues and chose specific missions. After using wisdom path methods to deduce, many of his suspicions were lifted. Eventually, his focus was completely on demon suppression Regret Crying Sea. There were many rumors regarding this sea area. Through Fang Yuan's deductions, there was a high possibility of Regret GU being in there. However, even though Fang Yuan knew the location, he could not get close. The mission of punishing the unscrupulous merchant 20 days ago was the closest Fang Yuan had ever gotten to demon suppression Regret Crying Sea. But he had tried, after just 30 li away from the island, he could not move closer. How can I get into demon suppression Regret Crying Sea? This was a problem that gave Fang Yuan a headache. Paradise Earth's arrangements were too powerful, Fang Yuan could not act freely. His space path attainment was also not impressive. He had tried to use fixed immortal travel earlier but it could not activate, even with an immortal killer move that Fang Yuan thought of. This meant that once Fang Yuan left the paradise, fixed immortal travel would not allow him to re-enter again. As for these people, Fang Yuan looked at the names of the GU Immortals on the merit board, he squinted. He wanted to keep these people around. On one hand, killing the GU Immortals in this paradise was risky. On the other hand, these GU Immortals were now earning merits and getting rewards, they were like livestock getting fattened. Fang Yuan could slaughter them when everyone went out, it would give him much greater benefits. Thus, not only did Fang Yuan not harm them, he even helped them with more detailed information. Miao Mingshen and the rest were competing more intensely. Especially since mission rewards were observable and limited, everyone could exchange for them, once someone got something, others could not. Thus, even though they did not try to kill each other, they schemed and purposely gave out false information in increasing frequency. In this situation, the honest and truthful Chu Ying was like an outlier, he became very prominent. Even though Miao Mingshen and the rest did not say anything, they became increasingly friendlier towards Fang Yuan. A change occurred 3 days later. A new mission appeared on the Merit Obelisk: head to the sacred city of the mermen, attend the sea god ceremony, and defend the city from the assault of sea beasts. Once this mission appeared, Fang Yuan selected it. The chance I have been waiting for is finally here. Fang Yuan was very excited. The sea god ceremony was unique to the mermen. In this ceremony, males and females would gather and form new families, they would also elect the new saintess. The saintess had an incredibly high status in merman society. And Fang Yuan had already gotten crucial information. In this paradise, the saintess had an incredible role. Every time a new saintess was elected, their main mission would be to enter demon suppression regret crying sea, using their singing to soothe the killing intent of the demon and stabilize the sea area. This Merit Obelisk's missions are meant to benefit the humans and mermen, bringing prosperity to the people and punishing evil while promoting kindness. After the saintess is elected, she would have to enter demon suppression regret crying sea. By then, a relevant mission might appear. But no matter what, I need to accept this mission and meet the saintess in advance. After so long, the sea god ceremony is finally here. Shaolin pushed open the window of her inn room, the noise of the crowd outside could be heard. Her room was on the second floor. Shaolin looked down and saw people moving in the streets while closely packed together. All sorts of flags were waving, there were temporary shops selling GU, snacks, and even gambling dens, all of the businesses were doing well. Shaolin's mood was quickly affected, she became quite happy. Splat! Suddenly, with a soft sound, a pearl landed on Shaolin's window frame. Shaolin was dazed before she flushed rapidly. Pearls had a special significance in the sea god ceremony, it meant a proposal. If someone tossed Shaolin a pearl, it meant that they liked her and wanted to marry her. Who is it? Shaolin did not dare to pick up the pearl because that action had deep meaning behind it. She looked down and saw that dozens of men were looking in her direction, tossing the pearls in their hands. Su Yi, I love you. Accept my love, Su Yi. The men tossed their pearls while shouting. Hey miss. Someone called out to Shaolin. Shaolin turned her gaze towards a young man on the street. He was a merman in tattered clothes, he was clearly poor. The merman youngster flushed as he said, Miss, I tossed that pearl to you. I had too little strength, I can't throw it high enough, can you please toss it back to me? Shaolin instantly understood. This youngster wanted to toss his pearl to Su Yi but had too little strength, it ended up going to Shaolin instead. Lady Su Yi is truly a famous beauty, her charm is too great, be it young boys or mature men, they are all in love with her. Shaolin breathed out slowly. Next, waves splashed as the pearl was lifted from the ground, going into the youngster's hands. Thank you, thank you. The youngster was overjoyed, he tossed the pearl with all his strength. The pearl got higher and higher, it was in the right direction now, but Su Yi frowned as she closed her window. The youngster's pearl landed on the window and fell down, over a dozen pearls suffered the same fate. But these pearls were different, they were huge and shiny, they were not common. On the street, the men did not disperse after this, they got even more excited, more and more people came to Su Yi's area and wanted to see her beautiful face. Some still had hope and wanted to toss their pearls, after all, what if they got lucky? A bunch of commoners with nothing better to do. Su Yi frowned, a pink cloud cushioned her tail as she floated downstairs. She had incredible beauty and arrogance on her face, but the most attractive part were her snow-white scales. Merman scales varied in different colors, white scales were extremely rare, it was considered the purest color and was extremely idolized in the merman society. 2 mermaid nannies followed after her as they muttered. These fellows should look at themselves in the mirror, they want to be Lady Su Yi's husband. Simply laughable. Our Lady Su Yi is a contestant for the saintess position, she would not accept any man's pearl. The merman saintess was pure and flawless, once she obtains the position, she would not be able to marry for life, she had to keep her virginity. Shaolin walked out of her room, lowering her head. Sister Suyi. Little sister Shaolin. Suyi showed a faint smile, hiding the arrogance deeply as she spoke. How was your rest? Have you thought it through? Thank you for the hospitality. Right now, all the inns are fully booked. Without you, I would not have had a place to rest. Shaolin immediately thanked. A mermaid nanny smiled. It was fate that you met with our Missy. In this vast sea, the meeting of two mermen is not easy. You two are fated to meet. I will say this bluntly, ordinary mermaids would die to be acquainted with our Missy. Suyi was not just a white-scaled mermaid, she had a high status, and was the doted daughter of a strong tribe leader. Nanny wrong, what are you saying? I met with Shaolin because we liked each other. Shaolin, don't have any worries, go ahead if you have any busy matters. If you follow me to this sea god ceremony, the risks are high. Suyi walked towards Shaolin as she held her hand, saying sincerely. Shaolin was moved. Sister Suyi, you have helped me too much. Since you want to become the saintess, I will definitely support you. But I am afraid that I am too weak. There are only 4 follower quotas after all. Suyi's eyes shined brightly. She held Shaolin's hands as she said excitedly, Shaolin, thank you. With your help, I will have a higher chance of becoming the saintess. Shaolin had low cultivation level. She was only rank 2, but she had a rank 5 GU worm. Gather oil GU, a top-tier rank 5 GU. Of course, this GU worm had no offensive might, but Suyi had already found out about the details of the Saintess test. The Gather Oil GU would be very helpful in one of the rounds. Chapter 1663. Fang Yuan, you are a good person. Fang Yuan walked in the Merman sacred city. He did not disguise himself, he was in Chu Ying's appearance. But his aura was completely concealed, he was like immortal. On the street, people moved about fluidly. Those who brushed past Fang Yuan would never imagine that a rank 8 GU immortal was walking so closely beside them. On the 2 sides of the street, there were shops and houses arranged in an orderly scale-like manner. The houses of mermen had their unique style, most had seashell or conch designs. Most were huge seashells and conchs, or modified shells of giant crabs and turtles. There were also few GU houses that were a symbol of wealth and authority, they had great defensive properties. Other than personal estates, GU houses used as shops were also booming with business. As he walked, the people walking in front of Fang Yuan started to move away, they were cheering loudly. Walking closer to take a look, Fang Yuan saw that a mermaid was receiving a jade pearl from a male GU master with teary eyes. This pearl was quite rare, it was like glowing jade and had the shape of an eyeball. This was not something valuable in the eyes of experts. As for Fang Yuan, it was a mortal material that he had no use for. But it was owned by the rank 2 male GU master, it was not easy for him to obtain this rank 4 GU material jade eye pearl. The mermaid might have noticed his feelings, she received the jade eye pearl in public as it signified her acceptance of his love. Next, the mermaid placed the pearl into her mouth, everyone started to cheer and shout, the couple started to blush and turn red. This action was not so simple, it meant she had accepted the young GU master's proposal. This paradise does not discriminate between races, merman and human can freely fall in love and have children without obstruction. But in the 5 regions, it was forbidden for merman and human to get together. Not only would they be discouraged, their children would also be ostracized by both sides or even killed. Fang Yuan had an eerie gaze. The sea god ceremony was around the corner, the entire sacred city was oozing with a joyful and festive atmosphere. This couple was not the first that Fang Yuan saw. They might be very simple and insignificant figures in the sacred city, but being ordinary did not mean one could not be blissful. This beautiful moment would become a cherished memory etched in their minds. The memories of the 500 years of his previous life started to surface again. A group of mermen were looking at Xie Hanmo, Fang Yuan, and the rest with an imposing aura. I am Investigator Wu De. There have been many reports by different clansmen that our current generation saintess Xie Hanmo has an affair with the human GU master GU Fang Yuan. I am here to investigate it. The leader was a jade-scaled merman who spoke in an icy tone. What? I dare you to say that again. The 2 guards behind Xie Hanmo were furious, they wanted to attack in anger. Xie Hanmo had a calm expression, while Fang Yuan had a dark expression as he clenched his fists. He helped Xie Hanmo investigate the gambling den. They found a lot of corruption evidence. The saints' mission had a qualitative breakthrough. But the other party was not going to wait for the end. They schemed and spread vicious rumors, saying that the saintess was impure and had an affair with a human GU master. These rumors had no evidence and were merely made up. Xie Hanmo and Fang Yuan did not care about them. But to think that the investigator from the Merman Sacred Court would actually come. Mobilizing the investigator without any evidence, I am afraid that Frost Tide tribe leader was not the only corrupted person, there is a higher up involved here. Fang Yuan transmitted to Xie Hanmo. Xie Hanmo frowned. With slight hesitation, she spoke. I am the Saintess, you are a mere investigator, do you have the Elder Assembly's token? The jade-scaled merman smiled, taking out an information path GU worm. Xie Hanmo was calm. Just this. The jade-scaled merman smiled again. This cannot allow me to investigate the Saintess, but Fang Yuan is different, he is a human GU master. Forget about the token, I can investigate him even without one. Even though Fang Yuan was a human and humans were the rulers of the 5 regions, Eastern Sea's Merman's Sacred Court was a super force, Fang Yuan had no background himself, the jade-scaled merman was not lying. Too vicious, I cannot believe that Frost Tide tribe's leader is such a person. He is afraid, he knows how amazing Fang Yuan is, he is afraid that we will find out more evidence as time passes. The 2 guards stood in front of Fang Yuan. After this period of time, they had already acknowledged Fang Yuan. Wait, if both sides clash, that will be what the enemy wants to see, we will not be able to explain ourselves. I will go with them, we have a lot of progress in the gambling den, even without me, you can still win if you continue on that trail. Fang Yuan transmitted. No way, Fang Yuan, you are too naive, if you end up in their hands, you will live a fate worse than death. The 2 guards shook their heads. Fang Yuan smiled. What is there to fear? I will die at worst. You saved my life before, in that case, I will repay it now. Do not look down on their schemes, this was targeted at me on the surface, but the true goal is Saintess. Once her reputation is hid and rumors spread, her status might be affected. Sacrificing me is a small issue, but we must defend Saint's position, without this, how can you investigate and punish those corrupted people? The 2 guards hesitated, Xie Hanmo was still composed, she said to the jade-scaled merman, go back, I will not hand him to you. The jade-scaled merman was slightly stunned before he laughed. Saintess, you want to defend this human GU master? Even at the cost of conflicting with us investigators. Xie Hanmo nodded. Go back. The jade-scaled merman looked at Fang Yuan before turning to Xie Hanmo, he showed a smile as if his scheme succeeded. Good. We are not Saints' match, we can only return in defeat. Ha ha ha. Saying so, he waved his hand and left with the merman. Saintess, why did you do that? Fang Yuan was anxious. Like this, you. For the first time, Xie Hanmo interrupted him. Fang Yuan, you are a good person. You are not afraid of death, other than courage, the biggest reason is that life is boring, right? You seem to be disappointed in this world and in your own life, there is deep fatigue hidden in your eyes. But undeniably, you are a good person. Xie Hanmo said softly. Fang Yuan, Xie Hanmo continued. And I am also a good person. How can a good person sacrifice another good person? Saying so, she winked at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was a little dazed, this was the first time he had seen such lively expressions from Xie Hanmo, she was quite cute and cheeky. Then what about the rumors? Indeed, that damned investigator is going to make up stories when he returns. The 2 guards were very worried. Xie Hanmo's expression went back to normal, she said aloofly, then let them. Several days later, the sea god ceremony started. The male mermen wore their shell armors, they carried long spears, javelins and blades. According to traditions, these shells and weapons were made by them personally using locally sourced materials. The female mermen, the mermaids, wore seaweed strips of various colors on them. Pink seaweed strips were used by young unmarried girls, widows wore black seaweed strips, while noble ladies wore gold, silver, and crystal-colored ones. Ordinary mermaids wore brown, dark blue, and gray seaweed strips. This was the traditional costume of the mermen, it was quite unique. Long ago, before mermen learned how to use GU worms, they lived a primitive lifestyle. Males hunted while females foraged. At the center of Sacred City, people gathered, singing and dancing. A large number of merman warriors were waving their spears, their armors clashed and created loud sounds. The mermaids, seaweed strips were like rainbow ribbons fluttering in the water, they waved in sync with the singing, experiencing no tiredness. This moment was reserved for the mermen, all the human GU masters were watching outside. The singing and dancing lasted for hours, mermen, male and female alike, continued to walk out of the area with shattered armors or fatigued bodies. Gradually, several mermaid girls emerged, they were the contestants for this year's Saintess competition. But what surprised Fang Yuan was that out of the 9 competitors, not all of them had white scales. It seemed like in this paradise, it was not only white-scaled mermaids who could vie for the saintess position, mermaids with different scale colors could also compete. And among everyone, Mermaid Su Yi was the most dazzling one. Chapter 1664, Saintess Test. During the Sea God ceremony, Sacred City was flooded with people. The surrounding spectators were clamoring loudly. Fang Yuan was in this crowd. He observed the prospective saintesses with an eerie gaze. His plan was to choose one of them and assist her in becoming the saintess. They are assisting her to become the saintess. That's right, Frost Tide tribe leader invested a lot into this to help Lady Chu Shuang. Xie Han Mo's two blue-scaled and red-scaled guards looked at each other after hearing this, feeling each other's worry. In the hall, Fang Yuan sat at one side. He gritted his teeth as his expression turned unsightly. Earlier, Xie Han Mo rejected the investigator and protected Fang Yuan. This escalated the rumors. Eventually, the Merman Sacred Court decided to hold the Sea God ceremony again to decide on the saintess once more. This is a scheme. They made use of your kindness and knew you would not abandon me, thus, this situation arose. Fang Yuan sighed deeply, feeling like he had implicated Xie Han Mo. Xie Han Mo glanced at him, smiling. Fang Yuan, no need to feel responsible. If we abandoned you earlier, they would spread rumors that I am old and callous, it would still affect my reputation. Saintess, no need to console me at this point. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. The effect and severity of both cases are vastly different. We have already worked together for so long, how would I not know? Xie Han Mo smiled. All right, forget about this, it does not help the situation. Fang Yuan and both guards quickly adjusted their mindsets as their expressions changed. Xie Han Mo added, the saintess position is not easy to hold onto. The moment I started to investigate the corruption, someone tried to drag me down. This means that the issue of corruption among the Sacred Court's elders has gotten very severe. Don't be too pessimistic. Even though a new Sea God ceremony is held, I have not lost my qualifications, right? It is not so easy to nurture a new saintess. Places with people will have competition for benefits. This saying was appropriate for the mermen as well. Mermen also had schemes and conflict of interests. The saintess had high status. If the forces in the merman tribe can nurture their own saintess, for the following period of time, they would have some political advantage and would be able to gain more benefits. Normally speaking, mermaid girls who could compete for the saintess position had deep backgrounds or were backed by one or two large forces. In the underwater sacred city, the singing gradually stopped, as intense sounds of drumming could be heard. In the square, only a few mermaid girls were left. They danced without showing fatigue. They were extremely determined to become the saintess. Fang Yuan stood outside the square, looking in. These 7 mermaid girls were all beautiful. Some were enchanting, some were youthful, some were cute, and some were elegant. There was a huge spirit spring at the center of the square. It was called the Sea God Spring. Water sprayed upwards and carried an elderly mermaid granny. She was the grand elder of this merman tribe. The grand elder looked at the 7 mermaid girls as she nodded, saying, the first round of the saintess test, golden needle in black oil. Saying so, more than 10 strength path GU masters carried huge vats into the square. Thud thud thud. After placing down the vats with loud sounds, each of the mermaid girls had one in front of them. The vats were larger than their bodies by several times. They could only see the inside after floating upwards. The vats were filled with thick black oil. The first test was to find a tiny golden needle in the designated time. I request for my follower to take my stage. The white-scaled mermaid Su Yi looked at the huge water vat as she said calmly. Approved. The Grand Elder looked at Su Yi deeply. Don't be nervous, don't be nervous. Shaolin encouraged herself continuously as she walked into the square while feeling uneasy. What's going on? The great lady Su Yi has a rank 2 GU master as her follower. Calm down. Su Yi's decision means that this mermaid is more than she seems. Everyone talked among themselves. It's her. Fang Yuan saw Shaolin and his brows rose. He did not expect this girl to become the follower of the most favored saintess candidate. Gather oil GU. Shaolin floated to the water vat and used this rank 5 GU worm. Instantly, the black oil in the vat started to move. It was drawn out by Shaolin and gathered in her hands. The crowd went into a commotion. The aura of a rank 5 GU. She is clearly a rank 2 GU master, but she can use rank 5 GU. Did I see wrongly? I understand, this must be the rank 5 gather oil GU that has been the hot topic recently. So this mermaid has such a quality GU worm, no wonder Su Yi allowed her to become her follower. Gather oil goo's effect was no joke. After a while, the vat became empty, only a golden needle was left sparkling at the bottom of the vat. The crowd was roused. Countless heated gazes landed on Shaolin. Shaolin was even more nervous now. She flushed red and showed a cute expression of not knowing what to do. Su Yi looked at her and smiled, thinking, I was right to recruit her into my group. In the first test, Su Yi relied on Shaolin's stellar performance to gain a huge boost in reputation. Fang Yuan's eyes were dark like the abyss. Looking at the crowd leaving, he thought, 6 out of 7 passed the first test, they came prepared for this. Evidently, the test content was leaked prior to this. Pale green flames burned in front of Xie Hanmo, forming a path of flames. Chu Shuang, who was also a white-scaled mermaid, walked in calmly, standing at the other end of the flame road as she looked at Xie Hanmo mockingly. Former saintess, your turn. Damn it, this eerie fire burns the soul, special GU worms are needed to resist it. We were already amply prepared, but to think that this first test would be so specific. And the worst thing is, Chu Shuang came prepared with the proper GU worms, she can resist the eerie fire. Is this luck? HMPH. She clearly knows the test content, this is Frosttide Tribe's scheme, they are colluding and cheating openly. Both guards were very angry. Let me. Fang Yuan walked towards the frowning Xie Hanmo. You. Xie Hanmo looked at Fang Yuan with crystal clear eyes. Trust me, I am confident in this. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with bright light, looking at Xie Hanmo directly. The two looked at each other for a moment, before Xie Hanmo turned away. Be careful, this eerie fire is not simple. If you cannot endure it, you can just step down. Xie Hanmo said. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, turning around and taking huge strides into the eerie fire. Pain, an intense pain originating from his soul assaulted Fang Yuan's entire body in an instant. Fang Yuan shuddered as he walked with great difficulty. He gritted his teeth until they bled. His eyes were wide opened, they were also tearing apart. His soul was burned by the flame as it melted. Thankfully, he had 2 lifetimes accumulation, and was an otherworldly demon. The eerie fire was less effective on him than on others. He would not give up midway, because he knew that by taking Xie Hanmo's place, if he failed, Xie Hanmo would fail too. When he finally walked through the eerie fire road, everyone went wild, countless shocked gazes gathered on him. Many mermen were moved. Fang Yuan tried to smile, but at the next moment, he fainted. But right when he was about to land on the ground, Xie Hanmo arrived and held him in her arms. Don't worry, I will not waste your effort. Xie Hanmo looked at Fang Yuan deeply before turning to look at Chu Shuang. For the first time, her gentle eyes revealed a cold and sharp light. Thanks to Fang Yuan's desperate attempt, Xie Hanmo passed the difficult trap set specially for her. The second, third, and fourth test. She performed perfectly, the other competitors soon fell short. Eventually, only mermaid Chu Shuang was left. It seems that Lady Xie Hanmo will very likely retain her position as saintess. Outside the square, Fang Yuan was still pale as he sat down weakly, expressing joy on his face. It was all thanks to you, Fang Yuan. Without your performance in the first round, we would not have gotten this far. Ha ha ha, you got past the flame road, it was shocking to everyone. A few days later, you woke up. Do you know that news of your survival shocked countless mermen in the sacred city? Both guards laughed loudly. Fang Yuan stopped his joyful expression as she said, be careful, the situation is in our favor, the other party will not stand by. Fang Yuan had expected Frosttide Tribe leader to act, but he did not expect that it would be so vicious. In the house, the red-scaled guard knelt on the ground, his face was red. Saintess, please let me battle, I need to clear up the accusation and humiliation that they have dealt to me. How could I possibly bully a widow? Xie Hanmo sighed. Get up, I know you well, but this is clearly the enemy's plot. If you charge out like this, their schemes will succeed. The blue-scaled guard was worried. This is not an ordinary widow, she is Bu Su Lian, the wife of the former third elder of the sacred court. They are simply too vicious, the investigator will come soon to arrest him for trial. In that case, he would not be able to join the test, our strength will fall greatly. Fang Yuan added. This wife of the former third elder of the sacred court was willing to sacrifice her reputation to accuse him. She must have a close relationship with Frosttide Tribe leader, this corruption is extremely severe, otherwise, she would not have to act personally. Since they set this trap, they must be amply prepared. If we try to clear up the situation, we would fall into their scheme. We can only play along with this and find a way out. How do we do that? Very simple, I will take the blame. Fang Yuan said plainly. Both guards stared with wide-opened eyes as they started at Fang Yuan. No way, Xie Hanmo rejected this instantly. Chapter 1665, The Story of the Sea God and Mermaid. Even though Xie Hanmo understood that if Fang Yuan took the blame, the situation would be resolved, she still rejected him without hesitation. But this way, Xie Hanmo and the rest would be in a passive spot. The turning point happened 3 days later. Xie Hanmo received some information. Xie Hanmo looked at the information as she became stunned before sighing. Chu Shuang is no longer pure. She gave the intel to her guards and Fang Yuan to see. After looking at it, their expressions changed. Chu Shuang was the saintess candidate that Frost Tide tribe leader supported. She was extremely popular during this sea god ceremony. She was the most likely person to take the position of saintess from Xie Hanmo. But to think that she had lost her virginity. Only mermaids who were virgins could compete for the saintess position. This was the first condition. The red-scaled guard was extremely happy. Great, to think that this Chu Shuang is not a virgin. With this information, they are history. The blue-scaled guard was very calm. The sea god ceremony is the most important ceremony of our tribe. It has always been inspected strictly. How did Chu Shuang get through the inspection? Unless our tribe's corruption has already extended to the priest. Then the situation is too severe. Fang Yuan frowned. We need to remember something. If we announce this now, everyone might think that we are trying to protect Red Scale and this is just our accusation. How reliable is the information? If this is part of their plan, we would be in trouble. Xie Hanmo shook her head. This is definitely reliable. Chu Shuang is supported by Frost Tide tribe's leader. We are supported by the Grand Elder. This was given to me by her. Even though we do not have evidence, I believe that as long as we inspect Chu Shuang's background, we would be able to find out if she is a virgin by asking another priest. Fang Yuan understood now that Xie Hanmo was able to become the saintess because she was supported by the Grand Elder of the Merman Sacred Court. Among all the higher-ups, Grand Elder was the fairest and most lenient one. She had great authority. But because she was too lenient, everyone became corrupted. Her support towards Xie Hanmo was also an attempt to correct her mistakes. Everything that followed went as Xie Hanmo predicted. After Chu Shuang was reported, she was investigated upon and her story was exposed. She had really lost her virginity. This information was too shocking. The Merman Sacred Court could not keep it secret. As news spread, the entire sacred city was in a commotion. Countless GU masters gasped. This is likely the biggest scandal in our Merman Sacred Court for the last 1,000 years. Chu Shuang was truly disrespectful. Such a desecration towards the sea god. She has to be punished. Killing her will not soothe our rage. Anger was not just in the commoners. The higher-ups of the Merman Sacred Court were furious too. The punishment towards Chu Shuang was rapidly decided. A few days later, Chu Shuang's head fell off her head and onto the ground. She died. Bam! A high-quality cup was smashed onto the ground by Frost Tide tribe's leader. It broke into pieces. Xie Hanmo, you were too much. Frost Tide tribe's leader growled. His eyes were bloodshot. I told you long ago to control yourself when drinking. After Chu Shuang's matter, as the person who supported her, the higher-ups will no longer give you their attention. In the room, there was a mermaid noble lady. She drank tea slowly. She showed no fear towards the angry Frost Tide tribe leader. Frost Tide tribe leader gritted his teeth. He said to the mermaid noble lady, Bu Su Lian, I do not need your reminder. Our allies will not turn on us after just this small issue. If Xie Hanmo retains her saintess position, they will also suffer and die. So even if they hate me, even if they do not want to see me, they will have to force themselves to work with me. Bu Su Lian said plainly, you are right, but now that Chu Shuang is dead, how will you defeat Xie Hanmo? Our best pawn has already been destroyed. No, no, Frost Tide tribe leader laughed sinisterly. You can rest assured, I still have methods left. Oh, I am listening. Bu Su Lian sat up straight. Frost Tide tribe leader kept it a secret. You will know in a few days. A few days later, on the square of Sacred City, Mermaid Dong Lei said under everyone's watchful eyes, I am willing to take Chu Shuang's place and continue with the sea god ceremony. Who was Dong Lei? She was one of Chu Shuang's followers. To think that Frost Tide tribe's leader had this pawn prepared. According to our tribe rules, sisters can take each other's place. Dong Lei can totally replace Chu Shuang and attend the sea god ceremony to contest for the saintess position. Everyone discussed. The origin of the sea god ceremony was a legendary story among the mermen. In the story, the first batch of mermen lived in Eastern Sea. They created a small fishing village. One day, a huge sea beast attacked the island. It created a tsunami around the island. The fishing village was almost about to be destroyed. To save the villagers in the fishing village, mermaid Ah Ching knelt at the cliff and prayed to the sea god. The sea god heard her prayer and said, Oh Ah Ching, I love to hear beautiful singing. If you can sing 3 satisfactory songs for me, I will chase the sea beast away and calm the sea, defending the fishing village. Ah Ching was overjoyed, she quickly agreed. She started to sing the first song by the cliff, it was enchanting. After she finished, the sea god savored the melody as he calmed the sea. Ah Ching sang the second song, her beautiful voice mesmerized the sea god, seaweed danced to her singing, prawns and fish gathered by her side as they listened. Ah Ching wanted to sing the third song but at that point, she no longer had any strength. After singing for 2 days and 2 nights, she was too tired. After returning home, she called her sister Aya and told her everything before dying from exhaustion. Aya was very upset but she listened to her sister Ah Ching's wish. She came to the cliff and said to the sea god, "Oh sea god, I will take my sister's place and sing the third song for you." Sea god said, "Go ahead." Aya started to sing, her voice was filled with agony and misery but also firm determination. After she finished, the sea god was pleased and the sea beast left, the fishing village was safe once again. When choosing the saintess, mermen would set up many tests during the sea god ceremony. These tests had varying contents, but the final round would always be the same, since the start of the ceremony's history. That was a singing competition among mermaids. They would get on the stage and sing on the specially made altar like Gu house. Everyone would get to sing 3 times, from the results, they would choose the sole saintess. All the tests before this were just elimination rounds. If during the sea god ceremony, all of the contestants got eliminated, then the saintess position would remain empty. Chapter 1666, Intercept. The sea at night was turbulent with vicious waves, wild winds were howling. From the black depths of the sea, a chain made of pearls of light started to shine. Next, intense drumming and zither music could be heard reverberating in the waves. The tens of merman warriors wore ancient armor made from seashells, they held up a huge white shell shield. Behind them, mermen danced and sang, surrounding Xie Hanmo and Dong Lei. Behind them, countless mermen were watching this final test with high spirits. The seashell floated to the surface of the sea, waves landed on the huge shell and caused waves to splash. Surrounding the seashell, merman warriors did their best to stabilize it. The huge shell slowly opened up, this was a natural stage. The seashell had a great origin, it was left behind by the desolate beast giant music shell. There was a vast number of sound path Dao marks on the seashell, even if a mortal stood inside, their voice would be spread far and wide. Dong Lei was the first to ascend the shell. Countless mermen floated to the surface of the sea, watching in anticipation. At a corner, in a boat like Gu house, Vu Su Lian watched as she said to Frost Tide Tribe's leader, "Are you so confident in Dong Lei? The first person to perform has a natural disadvantage." Frost Tide Tribe's leader smiled. "Just watch, I cannot explain it in words." Vu Su Lian looked at Frost Tide Tribe's leader deeply before turning towards the giant music shell. Dong Lei started to sing. Her voice was clear and elegant, it was quite mesmerizing, all of the mermen started to indulge in this beautiful song. At once, due to the giant music shell's effect, in the radius of 1,000 li, Dong Lei's beautiful singing could be heard. Even the torrential tides were suppressed. Mermen were born with a throat that could sing better than other species, they could produce incredibly beautiful singing. According to human standards, each merman was a natural-born singer. This was because each merman's body had abundant water path Dao marks. And in their throats, there was a particular cartilage that was filled with sound path Dao marks. There was a point in history where humans slaughtered mermen to take away the sound path cartilage in their throats, it was an excellent sound path Gu material. And the mermaids competing to become saintess had even better singing than most mermen. Those who live near the sea would often hear similar rumors about sailors who would get mesmerized by the singing of mermaids, they would forget time, forget their direction, they would not notice even if their ship hit a reef. This was not an exaggeration, it was the truth. Dong Lei's singing was superb, most of the people were listening in enjoyment, only Fang Yuan and the rest became furious, their expressions were ugly and they frowned tightly. Even Xie Hanmo, who was usually calm, had a change of expression, sadness and shock was expressed in her eyes. What is going on? Why is Dong Lei singing the song that we prepared? The red-scaled and blue-scaled guards were furious with wide-opened eyes. Fang Yuan's expression was grim, he gritted his teeth, isn't this obvious? There is a spy among us, he informed the enemy of our song. Both guards looked at each other before turning to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked at them fearlessly, only the 4 of us know what songs we prepared, the traitor must be one of you. Who is it? Xie Hanmo could not be the traitor, so among Fang Yuan, blue scale and red scale, one of them had to be the traitor. Bullshit, you are the traitor. Both guards were furious with red faces as they denied it. Xie Hanmo sighed, shaking her head. There might not be a spy, they might have found out about our preparations through special information path methods. Ha ha ha, far away, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader laughed loudly in his GU house. Bu Su Lian had been observing Xie Hanmo and the rest long ago, seeing their expressions, she understood as her eyes shined, you planted a spy near her. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader laughed continuously, of course. Xie Hanmo is too young and too naive to compete with me. Do you know the huge price I paid in order to get a spy this close to her? Bu Su Lian's eyes flickered with bright light. As expected and befitting of Frost-Tide Tribe's leader, the price you paid is worth it. Now that Dong Lei has sang her song, Xie Hanmo cannot use it again, she is almost helpless now that she has no song to sing. Xie Hanmo had truly fallen deeply into the plot of Frost-Tide Tribe's leader. The final round of the Saintess competition was to sing 3 songs. These 3 songs needed special preparation, sound path GU worms were needed for them, including lots of practice. Each song needed to produce a different effect. The first song was to calm the sea waves. The second song was to attract living beings, and the third song was to repel sea beasts. Thus, even though Xie Hanmo prepared 3 songs, after Dong Lei stole the first song, her remaining 2 songs were different and could not be used in its place. What do we do? Both guards were extremely flustered and anxious. Damn it, we got so far but still fell for a trap at this moment. It is no use, it is too late to prepare now. This must be the scheme of Frost-Tide Tribe's leader, we will expose it and ruin his reputation. Red Scale screamed. Fang Yuan looked at him like he was an idiot, do you have proof? Who would believe us? They would use this chance to counterattack and accuse you instead, what do we do then? Oh, Red Scaled guard was stunned. Xie Hanmo sighed deeply, in that case, forget it. Saintess. Both guards were stunned. Xie Hanmo smiled bitterly. You can still leave now, hurry. While there is still some time, leave this place. Xie Hanmo would lose the competition for the Saintess position, she would no longer be the Saintess. This way, she would face the attack of the new Saintess Dong Lei and Frost-Tide Tribe's leader, she would have a terrible end. To not implicate her 3 followers, even if there was a possible spy among them, Xie Hanmo wanted to fight for some time. Saintess, understanding Xie Hanmo's intention, both of her guards started to choke with tears. This situation had attracted everyone's attention. What happened to Xie Hanmo? Something bad seems to have happened. They are panicking, haha, it seems that Lady Dong Lei's singing has sent them into despair. Xie Hanmo is finished. Inside the GU house, Bu Su Lian sighed deeply. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader smiled sinisterly. Even though I can't deal with that foolish old Grand Elder, I will definitely torture that Xie Hanmo after this to vent my anger and hatred. Dong Lei stepped down the stage as she raised her eyebrows. I have already calmed the sea by 5 feet, I will anticipate Sister Xie Hanmo's performance next. Chapter 1667, White Moonlight. Xie Hanmo looked at her deeply in the eye as she ascended the stage. She had just entered the stage when she got stunned. Why are you? She looked at Fang Yuan who was beside her with deep shock. Fang Yuan interrupted her. As your follower, I am of course qualified to be your accompaniment. Quickly leave, Xie Hanmo swiftly said, but anxiety was all over her face for once. You want to sing the same song? Even if you sing better than Dong Lei, the rules will disqualify you. Trust me, I have a song for this. Fang Yuan interrupted Xie Hanmo as he transmitted. Xie Hanmo's heart wavered. Songs could not be changed easily, because they needed to be paired with GU worms and needed lots of practice. By changing the song, the GU worms used also needed to be modified. In this situation, Xie Hanmo could no longer change her GU worms, this meant that the new song and the original song needed to have the same rhythm and melody. It might be possible given 100 days of preparation, but in this rushed situation, the chances were close to 0. The song is not the same of course, but don't forget that I had participated in our song composition. I have a similar song here, but I need you to adapt to it on the spot, take note of the cooperation between my song and the GU worms. Fang Yuan transmitted. And these are the lyrics and tune. Xie Hanmo was stunned before nodding, okay. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, then let's start. Xie Hanmo breathed in deeply, she shut her eyes, this was her usual habit before singing. Everyone became quiet, they waited quietly, and waited. Why is she not singing yet? Gradually, some people became impatient. Ha ha ha, how can they sing? They have no songs to sing. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader laughed loudly with a face flushed red. Oh, sorry, can anyone lend me a zither gu? Fang Yuan broke the silence. Everyone, you are the accompaniment, but in this important sea god ceremony, you did not even prepare a zither gu. Is it really okay to be so lax? I need a rank 3 zither gu, can anyone lend me one? Fang Yuan added, looking towards the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder understood his words. Xie Hanmo met with an accident, she had anticipated this and quickly asked someone to send a zither gu. Fang Yuan obtained the zither gu and said, this is too important, let me refine the gu on the spot. Everyone, what, at the last round of the sea god ceremony, you want to refine gu? Are you serious? What was this human gu master thinking? He was toying with everyone. The mood of all the mermen turned bad. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader quickly instructed his lackeys, a voice suddenly resounded, you are purposely stalling for time. Everyone was about to clamor when Fang Yuan shouted loudly, are you saying that the sea god ceremony has a rule against refining gu? This is for the sake of the song, we will start after the gu is refined. Grand Elder quickly added, there are no such rules indeed, I will allow it. Quickly refine the gu and start, what does everyone think? The other elders looked at each other, some wanted to speak while others stayed silent. Lackeys of Frost-Tide Tribe's leader shouted again, the sea god ceremony is such an important ceremony, you want all of us mermen to wait for your gu refinement. Fang Yuan quickly rebuked, I am refining gu for the sea god ceremony, are you all unable to wait a little bit for this important ceremony? Whoever has no patience can stand up now. You can leave right away. Everyone went silent, you have a sharp tongue. But when you end up in my hands, I will make sure I smash all your teeth and pull out your tongue. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader snickered. On the giant shell that was floating on the sea's surface, the merman warriors were exerting themselves while stabilizing it. Some of the mermen floated to the surface, some only had their heads above the water, but all of them were looking at Fang Yuan refine his zither gu. Xie Hanmo was instead ignored. She stood beside Fang Yuan feeling very strange. She had attended the sea god ceremony once before and became the saintess. She had seen countless sea god ceremonies, but never had such a thing ever happened. Fang Yuan's refinement speed became faster and faster, this was because the zither gu's owner cooperated with him. After getting the zither gu, Fang Yuan stood up and went behind Xie Hanmo, saying confidently, alright, the real show starts now. Finally, the mermen let out breaths of air, feeling resentful. Go ahead and sing, I want to see what song you can come up with. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader snickered. Below the stage, the Grand Elder and both guards had worried expressions. Xie Hanmo shut her eyes. At this moment, the zither started playing. Fang Yuan had activated the zither gu, it let out a long and deep melody, the tune was extremely beautiful to listen to. Xie Hanmo shut her eyes, she started to sing one. The white moonlight is somewhere in my heart. It is so bright, yet so icy cold. Everyone has their own sadness. Wanting to conceal it, but it just became more obvious. Everyone was silent, only the sound of waves could be heard. Her beautiful voice intoxicated everyone, they could not stop savoring it. The white moonlight lightens the horizons of the world. It's in my heart, but not by my side. I could not wipe the tears off your face back then. The road is too long, I could not seek forgiveness. The tune was sorrowful but simple and elegant, it progressed smoothly with each verse, a feeling of intense sadness and agony filled everyone's hearts. Xie Hanmo had a pure and penetrating voice, she was gentle and warm, just like the pale white moonlight that seemed cold and also a little warm on the inside. The giant shell started to emit a white light, the waves did not seem to want to disturb her beautiful singing, they became weaker. The white moonlight lightens the horizons of the world. The fuller it is, the more loneliness I feel. Unable to wipe the tears in my recollection. The road is too long, how can I make amendments to you? Xie Hanmo was also engrossed in it. Her gaze shifted towards Fang Yuan, who was standing there activating the zither gu with his full concentration. She thought to herself, is there sorrow in your heart as well? Countless mermen shed tears. The pain of love and affection, these tears were hidden deep in their hearts. Was there true fulfillment in this world? Loneliness always existed. The white moonlight is somewhere in my heart. It is so bright, yet so icy cold. Everyone has their own sadness. Wanting to conceal it but it just keeps growing. As the song ended, the crowd remained silent. In the Gu house, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was stiff like a statue, shock expressed all over his face. The sea was calm and the dark clouds scattered, pure moonlight shone down on the giant seashell, enveloping Xie Hanmo and Fang Yuan. The two turned around slightly, looking at each other. Chapter 1668, Too Naive. As the music ended, the mermen started to converse among themselves. What song is this? This is the first time I have heard it, it is simply too amazing. Did you all notice, the song was superb but Xie Han Mo was not skillful, her GU worm manipulation had lots of errors. Many mermen talked about it with strange expressions. The true reason was that Fang Yuan and Xie Han Mo did not practice this earlier. If they had even one practice, they would not make such mistakes. But even so, reaching such a level of cooperation in their first attempt, Xie Han Mo's personal attainment was truly profound. Right now, the sea is calm and the weather has changed, the dark clouds scattered and the moonlight reappeared. Regardless of Xie Han Mo's mistakes, the results are evident. This should be a draw, in fact, Xie Han Mo should have a slight lead. It will depend on the next two songs. The mermen were getting more excited about the rest of the sea god ceremony. The Grand Elder could notice many things, she let out a breath of air as the worry in her heart lifted. What is going on? In the GU house, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader screamed. It seems that although your scheme succeeded, an accident occurred. Bu Su Lian squinted her eyes, focusing her gaze on Fang Yuan, she sighed in amazement. This man is not so simple, no wonder Xie Han Mo took interest in him. I am a song expert, this is likely his own creation, this shows that this human has very high attainment in sound path. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader expressed his suspicions. There are countless songs in this world, how can you be sure that this was his creation? Bu Su Lian smiled lightly, looking at Frost-Tide Tribe's leader with an expression of disdain in her eyes. You don't understand. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader's face became even darker. Bu Su Lian, can you speak clearly? Bu Su Lian chuckled coldly, ignoring Frost-Tide Tribe's leader as she looked towards Fang Yuan with glistening eyes. Others would fear Frost-Tide Tribe's leader's political power but Bu Su Lian was an exception. This was not only because she was the spouse of a former tribe elder, but also because of her own talent and schemes. But Bu Su Lian guessed wrongly in the end, Fang Yuan was not the creator, this song was originally from Earth. This song is unique and unheard of, it has to be a new creation by you. To think that you would have such high attainment in sound path, Fang Yuan. Xie Han Mo walked down the stage and transmitted to Fang Yuan, showing appreciation and praise in her tone. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. I am flattered, you saw for yourself, I even had to borrow a zither GU, I do not have such a high sound path attainment. No need to be humble, being able to create such a song means that your sound path attainment is beyond ordinary, you might have a future if you change to cultivating sound path. Xie Han Mo looked at Fang Yuan with a sincere and bright gaze. Fang Yuan had already anticipated this. He did not want to explain it, because that was not important and he could not explain it clearly either. The important thing now are the next two songs, if I am not wrong, Fang Yuan hesitated. They walked down the stage as Dong Lei went up. Fang Yuan and Xie Han Mo might have had an impressive performance, but she was not flustered, she remained calm and composed. She started to sing, her moving voice attracted lots of fish groups to her. As expected, Fang Yuan snickered. Xie Han Mo's gaze also became increasingly cold. Both guards looked at each other with bright red faces. This bitch stole our song again. Don't worry, I have a song prepared. Fang Yuan smiled with deep confidence. After Dong Lei went down the stage, the two of them went up again. Fang Yuan played the music one while Xie Han Mo sang and danced. When did the bright moon first appear? One raises a cup and asks the blue sky. One does not know in the celestial palace what year it is this evening. Once the song started, the atmosphere changed, all of the mermen shut their eyes in enjoyment. I wish to ride the wind and return there, yet I fear the jade towers, in a high dwelling, one cannot bear the cold. Starting to dance with one's own shadow, how can it compare to life in the mortal world? The moon revolves around the red pavilion, hanging upon the silk windows, the light shines upon the sleepless. Xie Han Mo thought about the time she was saintess, even though she had high authority, she was all alone, she became filled with deep emotions at this moment. I wish to return by riding the winds, but the position of saintess is like the jade tower that locks me in. The cold atmosphere is chilling, I cannot sleep, who is here to dance with me? I should not have resentment, but why is the moon always full at times of separation? People feel sorrow and joy upon partings and reunions, the moon can be dark or bright, full or crescent. These problems have existed since ancient times. Yet one hopes for longevity, 1,000 miles apart, seeing the moon's beauty together. As the song ended, the world went silent. Fish, prawns, turtles, crabs, all of the aquatic animals floated on the surface of the sea, scattered all over the place. Birds were fluttering in the sky, many were birds that flew in the day, they were drawn over from their slumber by this beautiful song. Beautiful lyrics and an enchanting tune, it pierced deep into everyone's hearts, the mermen could not help themselves but listen. Xie Hanmo looked at Fang Yuan, she thought, was this a song he made for me? She could feel resonance in the lyrics, she felt consolation and warmth from it. She was pure like the icy jade, but was maligned by outsiders. Right now, all of the sadness and annoyance in her heart had faded, none of the rumors from before could affect her heart anymore. He is someone who knows me. At once, Xie Hanmo felt an indescribable feeling in her heart, she was truly moved. The results were clear, Fang Yuan and Xie Hanmo won by a margin again. Dong Lei's face turned pale below the stage, she understood that if not for Xie Hanmo and Fang Yuan's imperfect cooperation that led to certain mistakes, she would not even be able to sing the third song. This person is a huge threat. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader gritted his teeth, slamming his fist onto the window of the Jiyu house. You finally realized, Bu Su Lian said plainly, mockery was in her words. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader snorted, he did not want to argue with Bu Su Lian. He needed to resolve this problem now, because at this rate, after the third song, Xie Hanmo was bound to win. Fang Yuan is it, to think he is such a problem. I need to get rid of him. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was determined to do this, but felt a huge headache. In normal times, he had countless methods against Fang Yuan, but now during the Sea God ceremony, under everyone's watchful eyes, he could do close to nothing. What do I do? Frost-Tide Tribe's leader thought about it rapidly, his forehead was covered in sweat. After a long period of consideration, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader finally acted. Fang Yuan, I am Frost-Tide Tribe's leader. He directly transmitted to Fang Yuan, this was the most useful choice of action. Fang Yuan's expression changed but he did not reply. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader chuckled. You can just listen to me, I know you are a smart guy but you are too young, you have aspirations that are too unrealistic and naive. Fang Yuan laughed coldly as he replied. I am not naive, this is my ideal, you won't understand. That's why I said you are foolish, lad, don't think that you two are basking in fame now by standing there, you are just pawns. Look at the flag fluttering in the wind, its foundation is the pole. Think about it, what are you relying on? The Grand Elder. Just go ask around, what kind of person is she? She had the political power to suppress our faction but she chose to let you people be the vanguard. When Xie Hanmo investigated the corruption case, did she help you? She might have given you some clues or whatnot, but trust me, it was really not much of an effort. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was quite eloquent, he added, or rather, even if you win and defend the title of Saintess, so what? Do you think I will die? No, Frost-Tide Tribe is the largest faction in the Sacred Court, if I die, the entire Sacred Court will be in turmoil or even break apart. The Grand Elder does not have the guts or determination to do that, she only wants to keep me in check and prevent me from acting out of line. So in the end, no matter what you find out, I will still continue to live as Frost-Tide Tribe's leader, at worst, I will sacrifice a few scapegoats and stop my overbearing actions. In the Sea God ceremony, almost every Saintess candidate is backed by their own force. Do you think this is simply a competition for the Saintess position? No, this is a game, this is a way for the higher-ups to distribute resources for the next few decades without internal conflict. The force that has a Saintess will get a bigger share of the pie, those who don't will receive less. Fang Yuan, you might hate or detest these games that we play in the dark, but you must understand that in this sea, darkness is the true ruler. The so-called light merely shines at the surface of the sea, ordinary people might enjoy or indulge in its dazzling beauty, thinking that light is the truth of the sea, but they are just too naive. Fang Yuan was silent. Chapter 1669, Rejection. Inside the Blue Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven, the Merman's sacred city. The atmosphere in the inn was heavy. What do we do? In the next test, Zhao Lu's follower will be taking part. That person is famous in the seas, with him around, we have no chance of winning. The two nannies had grim expressions. White-scaled merman Suyi sat at the center as she held a cup in her hand, she was in a daze while looking at the tea inside. Missy, you cannot hesitate anymore. That's right, the Sea God ceremony has already gone on for so long, only As and Zhao Lu are left, the rest have been eliminated. After the next round is the final test, once we get past this hurdle, we will be able to vie for the Saintess position. The two nannies urged anxiously. Su Yi sighed, but what can we do now? The nannies quickly came forward to Su Yi's side. Missy, didn't our tribe find a strong expert that can fight against the enemy? That's right, as long as we get him to fight, Even if we cannot win, we will not get eliminated at least. Su Yi's gaze was lingering on the cup. She said in a long sigh, I understand your suggestion, but did you forget something? I can only have 4 followers in this competition. These spots are all used up now. Even if the tribe invites an expert, we cannot use him. The 2 nannies looked at each other with bright gazes. So that's it, Missy had such plans already, but she could not say it personally. They understood the reason now. Among them, one nanny said in a soft voice, Missy, this matter can be easy or difficult depending on us. We just need to abandon 1 follower. That's right, the other nanny added. According to the sea god ceremony's rules, we cannot abandon followers easily, but if they are corrupted or have committed crimes, for the purity of the sea god ceremony and the saintess, we can expel them with proper reason. With that freed follower position, we can then invite the expert into our group, right? Su Yi's expression changed as she rejected, this is not appropriate. The sea god ceremony is such a huge event, if a scandal occurs, that person's reputation would be tarnished for life, they would never be able to clear their name. All of my followers have helped me greatly, how can I repay gratitude with enmity? Oh Missy, a great person would not mind small sacrifices, so what if we have to give up someone? I would suggest we target that Shaolin. She has no background and is a mermaid that nobody will care about, who knows what luck she had to be able to obtain that gather oil GU. Seeing Su Yi's displeasure, Nanny Rong added, of course, we are not framing her, we are trying to move her with logic. Shaolin looks like an understanding young lady after all. Missy, leave this to me, I will negotiate with her, it is okay if we pay a small price. Compared to the saintess position, it is evident which is more important. This, Su Yi hesitated. The other nanny quickly added, Missy, we are not forcing or harming Shaolin. We are seeking her cooperation, in any case, so what if she loses some reputation? Shaolin is a poor girl, she needs some materialistic gains more. It is very likely that after hearing our suggestion, she might become very happy and would want to deal with us, she is merely trading reputation for huge benefits. Leave, let me consider it first. Su Yi frowned as she asked them to leave. The 2 nannies looked at each other before leaving. Days later, rumors regarding Shaolin spread throughout the city. That's her, the shameless mermaid who betrayed her benefactor Su Yi just to gain the favor of the rich and noble. No wonder Lady Su Yi was always at a disadvantage, she had a traitor after all. I want nothing more than to tear the tendons and skin out of this scoundrel. She is truly shameless, I can't believe she is still coming to find Su Yi at this time. Shaolin bit her lips, walking up the inn stairs under everyone's accusations. Stand there. Halfway through, mermaid Nanny Rong blocked Shaolin with a cold expression. I was framed, I want to see Sister Su Yi. Shaolin raised her head, looking at Nanny Rong with an anxious expression. Nanny Rong laughed coldly. Shaolin, you still want to act. Missy was very upset after hearing the news, you still want to see her now during a crucial moment of the sea god ceremony. You are truly vicious, you want to annoy our Missy and cause her to make mistakes in the competition later. That's not it, Nanny Rong, listen to me. Listen to what? What is there to say? You are a shameless scum, we were blind to accept you into our group. Scram, Nanny Rong lost her patience, she screamed in a shrill voice, being very overbearing. You don't believe me but I believe in Sister Su Yi, if I don't get to see her, I will not leave. Shaolin's eyes were red, a light of stubbornness flickered in them. You are forcing me to chase you away, Nanny Rong said sinisterly. Stop. At this time, Su Yi appeared, walking down the stairs. Sister Su Yi, Shaolin was overjoyed, she wanted to move forward but Nanny Rong's arms blocked her path. Shaolin, Su Yi said to Shaolin with a complex tone. Sister Su Yi, you need to believe me, I did not betray you. Shaolin shouted. Do you need us to investigate it? At this moment, a group of mermen charged into the inn, they drew all the attention away. This group of mermen walked towards Shaolin as they said, Shaolin right. I am the sacred city's investigator, someone reported you for corruption, you betrayed Su Yi and tried to ruin the sacred sea god ceremony, you tried to manipulate the saints' competition. We are now arresting you, follow us and tell us everything that you did. No, I am innocent. Shaolin turned pale from fright, she shouted loudly in retaliation. We will investigate whether you are innocent or not. The investigator was very cold. No, I will not leave with you, I was framed, someone framed me. Shaolin was frightful, she continued to shake her head. You don't want to leave with us. HMPH, you don't have a choice. Come, arrest her, the investigator ordered as the merman GU masters behind him acted. Wait. At this moment, Su Yi spoke. Sister Su Yi. Shaolin's eyes shined with a light of hope. But Su Yi shook her head. Sister Shaolin, I do not believe that you betrayed me, but the investigator is here, we need to believe in Sacred City's justice. I believe that they will clear your name, go with them, as long as the results come out, your innocence will be proven, right? Sister Su Yi, Shaolin's eyes turned dim. Go with them. Shaolin lowered her head, walking towards the investigator. I was framed, but I will go with you. The investigator nodded in satisfaction. That's right, come with us. Shaolin was quickly brought into the interrogation room. Comment. These information path GU worms are all evidence, take a good look, I will give you some advice, don't think you can get out of this. The investigator smiled sinisterly, pointing at the information path mortal GU on the table. Shaolin looked into them one by one. Soon, shock was expressed all over her face. These videos and voices are all fake, I have never said such things. That is your explanation against all this evidence? Who would believe you? The investigator chuckled. I have never said such things. Shaolin was anxious. The investigator raised his arm, stopping Shaolin from talking. He smiled. I know you were framed. Shaolin was stunned. What did you say? You were framed. The investigator repeated himself. Shaolin was stunned. She blinked before saying, in that case, why did you? Because this was Lady Su Yi's request. The investigator laughed again. What do you mean? Don't try to sow discord between us. Shaolin was enraged. You are truly a naive little girl. Let me explain it to you then. You know who Lady Su Yi's father is, right? Do you know the current situation of the Sea God ceremony? Comment. The investigator spoke as Shaolin went into deep shock upon hearing his words. After a long while, she reacted. I do not believe that this is Sister Su Yi's plot. If she wants me to step down, I can leave. If she told me herself, I would not have rejected her. The investigator looked at Shaolin with a mocking expression, rebuking mercilessly, is the Sea God ceremony an event where you can just leave like that? If anyone could just step down, this competition would just be a pure contest between forces. The only way to step down is by force, at the same time, that position left behind could be filled again. Shaolin said in a daze, a situation like this. The investigator smiled. Indeed, you've grown smarter. Alright, you have two choices now. The first choice is to deny this evidence and fight for your innocence. But this evidence is concrete, nobody will believe your words. The second choice is to cooperate with us, admit to the crime, and even though you will lose reputation, we will repay you with abundant resources. Choose now. Shaolin smiled bitterly, lowering her head. Did she have a choice? The other party tricked her into this interrogation room. At this point, she could no longer reject them. Even if she tried to, she would still be framed and trialed as guilty. She did not have the strength to resist them, she did not have the right to reject them. Silence. After a long silence, the investigator spoke. Shaolin, if you keep silent any longer, I will take it that you accept our proposition. The facts are simple and clear, I believe a smart person will make a wise choice. This benefits both of us, isn't that right? I reject the offer. Shaolin suddenly raised her head as she spoke. Chapter 1670, Racing Heart. Reject. The investigator frowned, a cold light flickered in his eyes and his tone became much tougher. Young lady, think properly. You are young, you should not be impulsive, you need to know the weak cannot contend with the strong, let alone that you can't even be considered weak. I know I have no one to rely on, I am just a small character, which was why you all targeted me, isn't that so? Shaolin looked straight at the investigator, her tone was filled with mockery but also bitterness and helplessness, but you don't have to worry, I won't make a useless retaliation or file a complaint. I accept your false accusation, I will consider it as paying back Sister Su Yi's kindness. I don't want any compensation, from now on, we no longer have any debt to each other, we will just be strangers. The investigator revealed a surprised expression as he looked at Shaolin firmly. In the dim room, Shaolin's eyes seemed to shine brightly. This pair of bright eyes directly shined on the investigator's heart, making him unable to match her gaze. He quickly moved his gaze. You can leave, I hope you can uphold what you said. I will. Shaolin stood up and left with a calm expression that contained no anxiety. Several days later, Lady Shaolin, it is not that our inn does not want to do business with you but that the public sentiment is too fierce and many people have made reports. If we continue to let you stay here, they will, the innkeeper said with a bitter expression. Shaolin stopped him from continuing the story. I understand your situation, I will leave then. I thank you for the understanding, Lady Shaolin, you truly are a good person. The innkeeper said as he thanked profusely and gratefully. Shaolin packed up her luggage and left her room, walking down the stairs. Look, it is her. This woman secretly betrayed Lady Suyi for her own personal gains. This kind of person is simply tarnishing the sea god ceremony and our sacred city. The GU masters inside the hall saw Shaolin and started discussing while pointing fingers at her. Shaolin heard them but walked out of the inn with a calm and composed expression. When she arrived at the wide main street, a bustling tide of people was moving along the path. Today is the day of the second last test of the sea god ceremony. I can barely wait, today is sure to be spectacular. Do you guys know, Suyi had been in a disadvantageous position for so long because there was a spy by her side. Who does not know of it? It's Shaolin. As the saying goes, no matter how vigilant one is, they cannot defend against an internal threat. Most of the people did not recognize Shaolin, their attention was on the sea god ceremony as they hurried towards the central square. Even if some people recognized Shaolin, they were not absolutely certain. The sacred city was extremely crowded at this time, it was normal for there to be one or two people with similar appearances. The atmosphere was bustling, the people were jostling through the street as joy filled everyone. Shaolin mixed in with the crowd, her expression was tranquil, a stark contrast with her surroundings. She had felt happy before, but now, it was like layers of heavy mist had gathered in her nostrils, making her feel difficulty in breathing. She could no longer feel happy in this sacred city or satisfy her curiosity. Maybe, I will never come here again in my life. Shaolin raised her head slightly, looking at the tall buildings. These buildings seemed to be slanting down, the whole sacred city seemed to be pressing towards her. Shaolin felt increasingly depressed and frustrated, she quickened her pace and left the crowd, walking into a dark alley. The alley was dim and dark, trash was piled up in corners, spreading stench throughout the alley. Shaolin, however, felt her breathing become much smoother as if a huge weight had been lifted out of her heart. Walking in this dark alley devoid of people, Shaolin's raised head drooped slowly. How did I reach this state? She asked herself but obtained no answer. Her eyes reddened and she soon turned tearful. She was still a young girl, her previous strong attitude was just a facade. Hello, young lady. 3 mermen suddenly walked out of a corner of the alley. Shaolin was dazed for a moment before turning vigilant. These 3 mermen were hooligans, their ill intentions were clearly exposed by their gazes. More importantly, every one of them was a rank 2 GU master. Shaolin was also only rank 2. What do you want? Shaolin took a step back. What do we want? He. The 3 mermen looked at each other, laughing deviously at the same time. Young lady, our encounter was fated, why be in a hurry to leave? Even if you want to leave now, it is too late. At this moment, 2 rank 2 merman GU masters walked towards Shaolin from behind. Shaolin's heart sank, not only was it 5 against 1, both the front and rear paths were blocked. Although this alley was not far from the main street, these people were all GU masters and had clearly been lying in ambush, they definitely had methods to suppress the commotion. The 5 mermen approached Shaolin menacingly. Shaolin was panicking, she retreated again and again till her back touched the wall. The cold wall made her feel even more helpless. She gritted her teeth, her brows rose as she suddenly said, "Come, even if I die, I will drag you down with me." Oh dear, the little girl has guts. Quite fiery, Big Brother likes such girls. The 5 mermen giggled in amusement, they showed no fear but their footsteps had slowed down. Bump. Suddenly, Shaolin felt an intense dizziness. She was attacked. Her mind was filled with fright as she turned to look back with difficulty, she saw the wall melt down from which the 6th merman GU master walked out. They got me. The moment before she fell unconscious, Shaolin's heart turned cold. She is down. Ha ha ha, boss, your method is truly amazing. Quickly clean up this place, the sea god ceremony is currently ongoing after all. The 6 mermen gathered around Shaolin. Wake up, a deep voice lingered in the darkness. Shaolin slowly opened her eyes, the alley was once again reflected in her eyes. The pain behind her head reminded her, she got a fright and quickly struggled to stand up. She then saw the 6 mermen lying on the ground motionless in strange postures. A human GU master was standing in the middle of the 6 mermen. Shaolin cried out with joy. Master Chu, it's you. It's me. I have been observing the sea god ceremony from the start, I heard of your matter as well, you were tossed aside by Suyi, right? Fang Yuan slightly smiled. Shaolin's tear immediately started to fall as she sobbed. Master Chu, you. I have good judgment of people, although I have only met you a few times, you are not that kind of person. Fang Yuan continued. Shaolin could not hold it in anymore as she covered her face and started crying, like a wronged child finally getting vindicated. Fang Yuan quietly watched her cry for some time before patting her shoulder. Let's go. To where? Shaolin was slightly dazed. I am also slightly responsible for your current situation. Fang Yuan sighed. If I did not give you gather oil Gu, you would not have been targeted by Su Yi and participated in this sea god ceremony. So, I am taking you with me, follow me and leave. Okay, Shaolin nodded, she no longer had no interest in Sacred City. Fang Yuan led the way while Shaolin obediently followed behind him. At the end of the alley, there was another branch of the main street, it was also crowded with the stores at the sides enjoying bustling business. At the center of the street, there was a lion dance team. Facing the crowd again, Shaolin immediately felt some fear and disgust, but Fang Yuan had already walked ahead so she could only follow. Snap! The moment they walked out of the alley, Fang Yuan snapped his fingers. The next scene stupefied Shaolin, her mouth opened so wide that it could swallow an egg. She shockingly saw the whole street coming to a standstill. She was unable to speak. Just a small trick, come. Fang Yuan waved towards her before entering the crowd. Shaolin quickened her pace, following behind closely. This was a wondrous situation that she had never experienced before. She walked right past two mermen who looked like they were having a close conversation and seemed to be lovers. She looked at a store where a customer seemed to be haggling price with the clerk. Spittle flew out of the clerk's mouth and was suspended in the air, almost landing on the customer's face. There was a dog which was moving past the tightly packed legs and merman tails. Its body was bent as it was moving around a blue-scaled merman, its 3 legs were raised high while one was on the ground. Shaolin stared widely at these people with various lives, the liveliness in them made her forget her depression and frustration. Fang Yuan was extremely agile and walked quite quickly, it was quite tiring for Shaolin to follow him. Bump! In a moment of carelessness, she bumped into a sturdy human Gu master. The human Gu master swayed, his posture was still the same walking posture from before but his feet had almost left the ground, he started tilting to the side. Sorry, she was just about to prop up this human Gu master when she was grabbed by Fang Yuan. Here, Fang Yuan gave her a mask. Master Chu, this, Shaolin was puzzled, Fang Yuan did not lead her away from the street but brought her in front of that lion dance team. The mask that Fang Yuan gave her was colorful and made from fish scales and bird feathers. Fang Yuan pointed to the lion dance team. Don't you think it lacks 2 key characters? Shaolin nodded. They are playing the Sea Lion Winter Spring Opera, they are short of the male and female leading characters, a filial fisherman and a traveling mermaid princess. But I think this performance was a spontaneous idea, they are not a real opera team, it is normal for them to not have all the characters. Likely at the start, one Gu master put on the opera costume and makeup for his own entertainment. Later, along the way, more Gu masters joined in. These people were generally opera fans and loved such culture. In fact, there were all kinds of traditional opera and plays that existed in the Grotto Heaven, it was the trending entertainment of this paradise. My method can only last for a short while, put on the mask quickly, we will move with the crowd. Fang Yuan hurried Shaolin, not giving her the chance to refuse. Oh, okay, Shaolin subconsciously took the mask and when she wore it, her heart suddenly calmed down. No one would recognize her like this. The mental pressure on her had greatly reduced. But shortly afterwards, her face blushed. Because she saw Fang Yuan wear a mask and it was the mask of the filial fisherman. Doesn't this mean that Master Chu and I are the main male and female characters? Shaolin's heart started to race wildly. Chapter 1671, Life and Mask. Snap. Fang Yuan snapped his fingers once again. The surroundings immediately started moving again from the motionless state. That merman couple continued to walk forward while holding hands. Amidst the haggling at the stall, the saliva spit landed on the customer's face but he did not realize it. The small dog's 3 legs landed on the ground, it smoothly moved past the blue-scaled merman and continued to pass nimbly through the crowd of legs. Shaolin took everything in with surprise and curiosity. This was too magical. Master Chu's methods are truly powerful. This is probably a rank 5-time path killer move. Shaolin guessed. Plop. That male Gu master, who Shaolin had collided into, fell down to the ground and even affected the person behind, creating a small chaos. You are so big, don't you know how to walk? Someone scolded. Sorry. The well-built male Gu master politely apologized. This was, after all, the sacred city of the mermen. Meanwhile, the people in this paradise were less irritable than in the 5 regions. I was walking properly, how could I trip? Strange. The male GU master looked puzzled as he quickly stood up and moved with the crowd. Shaolin apologized softly while gazing at the receding figure of the male GU master. However, she felt a bit of joy like that of a prankster. Just as she was about to criticize herself, her hand was grabbed by Fang Yuan. Follow me. Fang Yuan dragged her to the lion dance team. The lion dance team was stunned at first before dancing even more joyfully. The accompanying music was immediately raised. We have all the characters now, haha. One dancer laughed heartily. You know how to dance, right? Fang Yuan smiled and moved his legs. He was playing the role of the filial fisherman. His movements were subtle and natural, having their own beauty. The surrounding people immediately cheered and hooted. Fang Yuan followed the crowd while dancing towards Shaolin. Your turn. Fang Yuan's voice was secretly transmitted to Shaolin's ears. Shaolin's heart was beating loudly from nervousness. Despite her practicing this play often when she was a child, she had never performed before a large crowd. She began to dance with stiff movements. Fang Yuan laughed as he took her hands and led her. He secretly used wisdom path methods. Shaolin immediately started feeling nimble. All kinds of dance postures of this play surfaced in her mind with extreme clarity. The two sang and danced and moved along with the crowd. The lion dance team was wearing colorful costumes and strange-looking masks. There were also some who jointly acted as an enormous golden sea lion. They attracted attention wherever they moved. And as the male and female protagonists of the team, even more eyes were focused on Fang Yuan and Shaolin. Shaolin was extremely tense at the start, but the more she danced, the better and more confident she felt. She was immersed in the joyful atmosphere, forgetting about the injustice she suffered as cheers, shouts, and whistling filled her ears. Even when Shaolin made some mistakes in her movements, there was only kind laughter. The crowd continued to move, some left the lion dance team while some joined. Unknowingly, Shaolin started laughing brightly. An unprecedented level of happiness which she had never felt before in the sacred city filled her heart. She was immersed in this happiness, unable to extricate herself from it. At the same time, she felt fear that this was not real. It truly is like I am dreaming. Shaolin's heart was filled with emotions, her gaze never leaving Fang Yuan. Time to leave. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's movements changed. He dragged Shaolin away from the opera team and walked to the side of the street. Shaolin was caught unprepared and got pulled directly into Fang Yuan's embrace. She bumped into Fang Yuan's chest. A strong manly smell entered her nose. She quickly held the mask that had almost fallen down, hiding her reddened face. Here, Fang Yuan moved quickly while pulling her, walking into an alley. It was another lonely alley with dim lighting and the stench of garbage. Fang Yuan released Shaolin's hand and quickly walked ahead. Shaolin immediately felt an empty feeling as she followed behind. The two moved in the long alley, one in front and another in back. Fang Yuan did not utter a sound, the alley echoing his monotonous footsteps. The sounds from the rowdy street became softer and softer as they moved further into the alley. A lonely and cold feeling pervaded Shaolin's body and heart. The previous happiness and joyful feelings started disappearing from Shaolin's heart. Gradually, worries began to find her once again, and her previous depression began to surge. Shaolin wanted to find some topics to talk with Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan had been moving ahead without even turning his head back. The oppressive atmosphere made Shaolin not dare to casually speak. Finally, they reached the exit of the alley. The street here, although not as lively as the previous, was also filled with crowds and was boisterous. Fang Yuan suddenly stopped and turned towards Shaolin. Have you thought it through? Shaolin was stunned. Thought what through? Fang Yuan smiled, pointing at the mask Shaolin was wearing. Do you want to wear it to cross the street or do you want to walk in the crowd showing your own face? Shaolin was stunned again. Fang Yuan continued. I took off my mask when I entered the alley, but you are still wearing it. Why? Do you feel ashamed? Do you feel afraid of looking at people with your face? Worried that if you confront life, you will lose the happiness from earlier? A series of questions caught Shaolin unprepared and unable to reply. After a while of silence, she seemed to have understood something as she took down the mask, revealing her face. Master Chu, I understand your intentions, thank you, I truly thank you. I am only an ordinary mermaid. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, interrupting her. I have said it before, your current situation is largely because of me, I need to compensate you for this. Master, what are you saying? You have shown enormous kindness to me by gifting me gather oil GU. You don't owe me anything at all, in fact, it is I who owes you everything. Shaolin quickly said. That is how you interpret it, not me. Fang Yuan shook his head, his expression turning solemn. Look back on it, you were previously taunted and jeered by others, but just earlier, you were showered with welcomes and cheers. What is the reason for such a big difference? Could it be because of this mask? But in fact, you had been yourself all along, isn't that so? Shaolin nodded. Fang Yuan looked at the street outside the alley and pointed at the passing crowd. Take a look now, these people don't want to inspect your true self and who Shaolin truly is. When we were dancing and singing, they also did not want to know our names. They are only expressing their attitude, the true situation is not important to them. Ordinary people chase after the truth because they are usually angry and indignant about being made a fool of. So to them, we are not important at all, and to us, their attitude should similarly not be important. Shaolin took a deep breath. Master Chu, thank you for comforting me, I truly can't thank you enough. I have not finished speaking. Since the attitude of outsiders is not important, what is truly important in our lives? Fang Yuan asked with a smile. Shaolin was stunned for the third time. Master, forgive my ignorance. Fang Yuan pointed at Shaolin and then pointed at himself. It is us, ourselves. It is our truest feelings. Ask yourself, listen to the voice in the depths of your heart. What do you want to do? What kind of person you want to become? Where do you want to go? You will obtain the answer in the depths of your heart. If you want to travel, then travel around the world. If you want to treat others well, then treat them properly. If you want to attempt flying, then collect money and resources to purchase and practice flying GU worms. Fang Yuan pointed at the alley then at the street. If you want to remain in the alley, you can stay. If you want to walk into the street and enjoy the event with others, then walk out. Don't mistreat your own feelings because of their attitude. If you mistreat yourself frequently, then you will end up with regrets, you will constantly wear a mask to act as another person, you will no longer be yourself. The moment she heard that, Shaolin felt that her mind had cleared up, it was as if she received enlightenment, all her previous worries and distress were swept away entirely. Chapter 1672. Stop being so naive. Master, I will never forget your guidance in my life. The mermaid took a step back and bowed solemnly towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. My efforts were not in vain. But sometimes, it is easier said than done. I'll ask you now, what is it that you want to do the most at this moment? Shaolin hesitated. I want to follow you. This was the first thing that popped up in her mind. But before she spoke, she saw Fang Yuan shaking his head. You still haven't thought properly, you have time to think about it later. Actually, I am not concerned about what you want to do. Do you know what I want to do? Shaolin shook her head, but at the next moment, her eyes opened wide and her body stiffened. Because Fang Yuan had slowly stretched out his hand and stroked her face. Thump 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 thump. Shaolin's face blushed red, her heart thumped wildly, and watery ripples appeared in her eyes. She felt Fang Yuan's wide palm and the warmth from it. This feeling was like a slight electric shock that transmitted to her body and mind. It was clearly an ordinary action but Shaolin was unable to even budge. Fang Yuan took back his hand. You still have a mask on. Shaolin was puzzled but she heard Fang Yuan speak. Sometimes, we wear a mask of our own initiative, sometimes, others force us to wear a mask. Right now, I want to take away the mask on your face, cooperate with me, okay? Moss Master, you don't need. Shaolin vaguely knew what Fang Yuan wanted to do as she stuttered. Fang Yuan shook his hand. I will not be happy unless I take this mask off. I don't want to betray my feelings, since you feel that you owe me, then cooperate with me as compensation, okay? How could Shaolin refuse after hearing this? She knelt on the ground and made 3 kowtows to Fang Yuan before quietly standing up. Master Chu, I will do whatever you want me to do. Okay, then become the saintess. What? Several days later. The sea god ceremony's final test had gathered the attention of everyone. Su Yi was looking at Shaolin with shock as if she had seen a ghost. The 2 nannies were also stunned. Following the Grand Elder's explanation, the crowd went into a commotion. Su Yi was very confident of victory because her competitor had suffered heavy injuries in the previous round and was unable to step up to compete in such a short duration. But who could have thought that a surprise would occur? The competitor's younger sister who had been separated for many years was found. It was this mermaid, Shaolin. Isn't this too melodramatic? Unbelievable. Shaolin, isn't she the person who betrayed Su Yi for her own gains? That is a lie that Su Yi's supporters spread intentionally. The true reason is that Su Yi wanted to free up a follower quota. I heard that investigator pleaded guilty. His conversation where he pressured Sha Lin was recorded and is ironclad evidence. This is more dramatic than an opera play. The discussions among the audience became more heated. The two nannies conversed secretly. What is going on? How did the public sentiment change all of a sudden? Also, we never arranged for the investigator, why did he admit guilt for no reason? Su Yi's expression was extremely unsightly, while Sha Lin was calmly looking at the crowd. Fang Yuan's guidance had elevated her mind and spirit to another level. Su Yi felt even more stifled when she saw that Sha Lin did not even look at her. She snorted coldly, Sha Lin, I truly didn't think we would meet again and in this way. I also didn't expect this. Sha Lin looked at Su Yi and said honestly. The huge setbacks and gains that she experienced over these days felt like a dream. Su Yi snorted once again. No matter what scheme you have, this last test is not something a casually selected mermaid can pass. This sea god ceremony's saintess position is mine. Oh, Sha Lin lightly replied. Su Yi felt like her provocation had ended up hitting air, she felt terribly irritated. Sha Lin scanned through the surrounding crowd once again, there were too many people. Master Chu said he will watch me from the crowd. But where is he? I am not able to find him at all. Could he have disguised his appearance? He has vast mystical prowess, if he wants to hide, I will never be able to find him. After this matter is over, I will tell him I want to follow him. I wonder if he will agree. Sha Lin's mind lingered on this question. Compared to the answer to this question, the saintess position did not have any attraction to her. In the first round, Sha Lin was slightly better than Su Yi. In the second round, Sha Lin won against Su Yi by a little. This result greatly surpassed expectations, causing the audience to be in a commotion. Everyone revealed shock. Fang Yuan, who was hiding among the audience, looked shocked like the surrounding people, but his heart was tranquil. He had trained Sha Lin over these days, using Immortal level time path methods to gain a large amount of time to train her to a certain level. Along with Fang Yuan's personally chosen songs, which were unique, and the sound path GU worms he prepared specially for Sha Lin. Moreover, when Su Yi and Sha Lin stepped on the stage to sing, Fang Yuan had even secretly tampered and influenced their performances. The former's performance became choppy while the latter's performance became increasingly better due to his support. Besides us outsiders, there is probably no GU Immortal in this grotto heaven. Now that I am using Immortal level methods, is there any worry that I can't control this grand ceremony of mortal GU masters? What should we do? The third round is about to start. The two nannies were sweating from anxiety, they were sent by the clan to specially assist Su Yi. If Su Yi did not get the saintess position, they would have to suffer the punishment. Su Yi was pale as she looked at Sha Lin. Everything felt like a dream. As far as Su Yi was concerned, Sha Lin was a dull and ordinary girl. It was only because she possessed Gather Oil GU and was a mermaid that Su Yi had used her. Although she had not felt comfortable doing this to Sha Lin, she did not feel like it was a huge deal. Even if Sha Lin wanted to take revenge, what revenge could she take? She, a person with no background and only rank 2 cultivation, wasn't she asking for others to use her? If not for the saintess position being in sight and Su Yi not wanting to divert her attention, she would have taken the chance to scheme for Sha Lin's rank 5 GU worm. This was not considered repaying kindness with enmity. Could a rank 2 GU master protect a rank 5 GU worm? A person's wealth is their own ruin by causing another's greed. So, to Su Yi, rather than Sha Lin being killed by others in the future, it was better to persuade Sha Lin to offer Gather Oil GU to the clan of her own initiative. Like this, her own side would obtain benefits and she would also not die. It could also be considered as Su Yi helping her. This was a small plan in Su Yi's mind. But, as the saintess position was too important, Su Yi did not dare to split her attention and also did not want to attract criticism, so she could only spare Sha Lin for the moment. If it were before and someone told her Sha Lin would be her biggest obstacle in becoming the saintess, Su Yi would have replied with only a chuckle, hee hee. Now though, Su Yi wanted to say, hee hee, to herself, life was truly too cruel. With Fang Yuan personally forging a fake identity for Sha Lin, who would be able to see through it? Nobody in this huge sacred city could. So this evidence which proved Sha Lin's identity was irrefutable and ironclad. Even Su Yi believed Sha Lin's identity was truly like so. Oh destiny, this is truly too big of a joke. Su Yi heaved a deep sigh. Young miss, what should we do? The two nannies were out of ideas. We cannot do anything in front of such a large crowd, we also don't have the time. There is only one option left, I will personally persuade her. Su Yi remained silent for a while before uttering through clenched teeth. She transmitted her voice to Sha Lin. Shaolin, I am Su Yi. Shaolin was surprised, but her expression calmed down quickly as she replied, what's the matter? Su Yi organized her thoughts and said, I want to make a deal with you, lose the next round and let me be the saintess. I swear in the name of the sea god that I will pay a price that will satisfy you completely. Even if my power is not enough, my family will be able to satisfy you. Shaolin remained silent for a moment before saying, sorry but I. Don't be in a hurry to reject me, Shaolin. You are too young, maybe you still don't recognize the significance of the saintess position. What do you think the saintess is? Just a belief, or a superficial selection? Both are wrong. It involves benefits, it involves the interests of the whole sacred city's higher-ups, this is a political game. I know you want to take revenge against me, but do you know your situation is extremely dangerous right now? Once you become the saintess, you will be in an even bigger danger. Your elder sister's side pushed you to the stage because they did not have other candidates, so they are only putting up a front. Once you become the saintess, they will use all their strength to make you into their puppet, they will make you do things that match their benefits. Although I have not been in much contact with you, I understand you. You are pure and kind, if you become the saintess, you will probably try to fight for benefits of the mermen and mermaids. But you definitely won't succeed because you are not a person of any political force, you are just an outsider. Unless you join one of the forces and become the representative of their benefits, or else you will be excluded by everyone and will become the most powerless saintess in history. But if you choose to transact with me, the benefits you will obtain will surpass your imagination. It will be much more than the benefits you can obtain from your elder sister's side. Please believe in my sincerity. Su Yi had an amazingly eloquent tongue, even Shaolin felt moved. But she replied, Lady Su Yi, I understand your sincerity, but I cannot agree to you in this matter. Why? Su Yi's tone was hurried, you think I am deceiving you? Although it is cruel, what I have said are all truthful. Stop being so naive, okay. Shaolin remained silent. Chapter 1673, Ji Yu Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's first life of 500 years. Sea God ceremony. Naive, facing Frost-Tide Tribe's leader's long-winded speech, Fang Yuan fell into silence. But he only fell silent for a short period before he chuckled and transmitted his voice, you think I am not aware of what you said? You think I am an inexperienced youngster? No, I understand all these tricks, clearly in fact. I know these truths and have accepted them. Fang Yuan was forced to leave Qingmao Mountain, wandering about in southern border before going to western desert and then to eastern sea. He struggled at the border of death, he had to worry about 1 or 2 primeval stones. He had to bow down and grovel before the strong in this destitute life. He had also once gained a high status, listening to reports from his subordinates while drinking tea. He had been lowly, he had been glorious, he had been lofty, he had been ordinary. Considering his life on earth and the experiences after crossing over to this world, his vision was already beyond normal people, his experiences were plentiful, and he was very knowledgeable. How could such a person not understand these worldly affairs? Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was frustrated, replying quickly, since you know these truths, then you should know you are taking great risks now. This is our merman internal political battle, what are you, a weak human GU master, doing by meddling? You like Xie Han Mo? I can guarantee that after this matter is finished, I will gift you many more beautiful mermaids. Don't doubt my sincerity, I can swear an oath to the sea god. There is indeed no need to doubt the sincerity of a merman who swears an oath to the sea god. But, Fang Yuan continued, although I accept these truths, it does not mean I like them. You think I like Xie Han Mo? No, I only want to help her. Why am I taking such risks to help her? Because I have my own principle, favors must be repaid, hatred must be returned. I have used lifespan GU, I have lived much longer than you can imagine. I used to wish for a long life before, but now, I am tired of this thought. Life has become increasingly boring. Sometimes, the final destination of the journey is not important, the important thing is the process of the journey and how you feel during the journey. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader involuntarily opened his eyes wide at these words, it was hard for him to understand Fang Yuan's way of life. You are saying the position of saintess is not important, the important thing is helping Xie Han Mo in this competition. Correct, but there is still more. You talked of the dark side of politics and promised to gift me mermaid beauties, both have no importance to me. Let me put it this way so you might understand a little, I have lived long enough that I am already sick of wearing a mask to live. Death is not scary to me at all. Right now, I only want to live using my truest emotions and feelings, I will achieve my goals in my own way. Only by living like this can I feel the excitement of life and the desire towards living. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was dumbstruck and stupefied. He finally understood as he shouted, "So that's it, you are a lunatic. You have said so much, but they are nothing more than saying you have lived long enough and don't want to live anymore. So be it, you were a GU immortal, but you, a mere rank 3 GU master, want to live life your own way. You are dreaming." Fang Yuan smiled. "You think becoming a GU immortal can allow people to live according to their will? Live without wearing a mask. A place with people has society and conflict. Survival and living are two different things. The way you want to live does not have to depend on your strength and cultivation level, but your own heart." After a brief pause, Fang Yuan continued, "Actually, low strength is also quite interesting. When you live without a mask, low strength will allow you to face more difficulties and challenges of reality, surpass these difficulties, face these challenges, and life becomes much more wonderful." Frost-Tide Tribe's leader stood stupefied, his eyes and mouth were wide open as he was unable to say anything. His sight moved across the crowd of people, landing on Fang Yuan. He saw a slight smile. A chill rose in his heart. This person has such strange and deviant thoughts that differ from common logic. He has an inclination towards self-destruction. He has likely turned demonic. It would not matter if he did not play by the rules. The more terrifying thing was he did not think according to the rules. His thought process was completely different from ordinary people. He was already too far away from the norm. This was a demon. This is a true demon. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader felt a chill. He felt this was Fang Yuan's true nature. Even though Fang Yuan did not wantonly slaughter lives, even though Fang Yuan currently still committed acts of kindness like repaying favors, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader felt a deep powerlessness at the same time. If it were an inexperienced youngster, he could have disguised himself as a senior to guide him and let him know the complexities and some dark truths of society. But Fang Yuan understood them well. He almost knew everything way too clearly. What made him even more helpless was that Fang Yuan's thoughts completely differed from others. He is too strong-minded and stubborn. He clearly only has rank 3 cultivation. How dare he? Unreasonable, unreasonable, a lunatic, a madman. He is too arrogant. He actually shows contempt for life and death. Right, he does not even fear death. What would he not dare to do? All the wealth, beauties and status in the world might be useless when compared to his own true feelings. What else do I have to entice him? Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was going crazy. The more he thought, the more he realized, the more he knew Fang Yuan had no fear and would not be enticed. There might be a day when he is enticed, but it would be because he himself wanted to be enticed and it would be his genuine intention. It was not easy for people to live in this world. That was the case for mermen as well. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader had high authority and status, but it was even harder for him. The elders of Merman's sacred city were pressuring him from above, while many of his subordinates were scheming against each other or coveting his position. He had a lot of children who were looking for power and authority, and there were deep conflicts between his many wives. Everything required his supervision and arrangements. Was it wrong for him to be corrupt? No. What was corruption? Corruption was no more than obtaining more benefits, and these benefits made other benefit holders feel unfair. It was similar to dividing a cake. In normal cases, you take a piece and I take a piece. Now, I secretly took another piece which made you jealous. You complain. You broke our distribution agreement. What gives you the rights to take so much? This was corruption. Did you think the Grand Elder's side which supports the Saintess was not corrupt? There would be more or less some corruption. Even if the Grand Elder herself was not corrupt, what about her subordinates? Her children? It was just that they were not as heavily corrupt as Frost-Tide Tribe's leader. Even if the Grand Elder's side was completely free from corruption, they were still higher-ups, people who enjoyed the cake and also people who exploited others. From this aspect, everyone was an exploiter. What difference was there? They were all the same. So, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader had never felt his corruption was wrong. He only wanted to obtain more wealth, beauties, and authority. As his corruption increased, he was gradually pushing beyond the distribution agreement. But he did not want to stop. The greed in him did not allow him to stop. No, it is not greed. It is my aspiration. Many times, Frost-Tide Tribe's leader would shout this inwardly. There was a joke which was not a joke. The father asked his son, "What is your aspiration when you grow up?" The son replied, "I want wealth and beauties." The father slapped his son. The son replied again, "I want career and love." The father smiled and nodded his head lightly. Therefore, while career and love were aspirations, wealth and beauties were also aspirations. So, Frost Tide Tribe's leader was confident in himself. Was there anything wrong with him chasing wealth, beauties, authority, and fame? Did you think it was crude? These were all aspirations. Which person's life was not filled with such aspirations? Frost Tide Tribe's leader liked this aspiration from deep down because this aspiration spurred him on, and also enticed others to pay and sacrifice for their aspirations and help him, Frost Tide Tribe's leader, to achieve his aspiration. There was nothing wrong with his corruption, this was his aspiration. Aspirations should be practical and required effort to reach. When Frost Tide Tribe's leader fell into corruption for the first time, he knew there would be a time when he would be opposed and blamed by others. But so what? These were natural and were difficulties and pains that he must experience in realizing his aspiration. As long as he passed these difficulties and subdued this suffering, Frost Tide Tribe's leader could realize his aspiration. As long as he used a series of political techniques like secret manipulation, indirect approaches, threats and so on, he could realize his aspiration. Frost Tide Tribe's leader, who had an authoritative status for a long time, was confident in this aspect. He indeed had the capital to be confident. If not for Fang Yuan appearing out of nowhere, he would have already pushed down Xie Hanmo and promoted his own pawn to the saintess position. Once he accomplishes this, he would have defeated the Grand Elder and successfully defended the fruits of success from his corruption. He would then use the puppet saintess to issue several policies which would be for a good future of the mermen and also for Sacred City. He would be able to turn his corrupted history into legal events that would clear his reputation for good. At that time, who could say he was corrupted? But right when Frost Tide Tribe's leader was about to succeed, he failed, he completely failed. Because he ran into Fang Yuan. This person had no aspirations. No, that was not exactly right. Frost Tide Tribe's leader believed Fang Yuan liked wealth, beauties, power and fame too, but he liked to live by his own feelings even more. That was his aspiration. What was the point of having such a grand aspiration? With such an aspiration, wouldn't the majority of other people end up looking crude and ordinary? He was really courting death. Frost Tide Tribe's leader gritted his teeth with hatred. This hatred was intensified because of an unknown fear in the depths of his heart. Frost Tide Tribe's leader wished he could flay Fang Yuan. He wished Fang Yuan would immediately die. But he could not do so right now as this was the Sea God ceremony. The final song. Xie Hanmo and Fang Yuan walked to the stage together. Fang Yuan played the accompaniment while Xie Hanmo's song spread to the surroundings. The blue sea is laughing, the tidal waves are surging. Drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs, at this hectic mortal world. Who will win, who will lose, only heaven knows. Human lives have ups and downs like the waves, sometimes high, sometimes low. Why do we have to be always concerned about victory or defeat? The natural romanticism intoxicated the crowd. The rivers and mountains laugh, the misty rain is far away. How many great men and heroes have the tides washed away? Smiling at the breeze wind, lost in quiet solitude. Heroic feelings remain, reflected in the cold night. Bold and lofty, free and unrestrained, all kinds of aspirations would be washed away by the waves. Even life itself will perish. But what is the big deal? A noble man is not a slave to external matters, aloof from the world, forgetting gains and losses. Destiny is fickle, so why uphold your disposition, throw away your mask and find your true self. True self is unyielding, true self is lonely. Even if my life is the setting sun, I will live my own splendor. The audience was entranced. Frost Tide Tribe's leader was pale, his body shivered as he understood his loss was certain. The blue sea is laughing, the tidal waves are surging. Drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs, at this hectic mortal world. Who will win, who will lose, only heaven knows. The rivers and mountains laugh, the misty rain is far away. How many great men and heroes have the tides washed away? Common people laugh, there is no more loneliness. Yet the unyielding spirit in me is still laughing crazily. I struggle to survive in the mortal world, I came to life and I joined the world. I lived my own life, I lived according to my own feelings, even if the waves toss me up and down, sending me to the border of death. I will never grieve, lament, fear, or worry, I will savor these flavor thoroughly, I will still laugh crazily until the end. I am true to my nature. I am a true person. On the stage, Fang Yuan was wholeheartedly activating the Gu worm with his eyes closed, the sound of the zither spreading throughout the area. Frost Tide Tribe's leader looked at him blankly, involuntarily mumbling, this demon. Xie Hanmo was also entranced as she sang. She looked at Fang Yuan, an extraordinary brightness shining in her eyes as she thought, such a free and unrestrained life, isn't this what I yearn for? Fang Yuan is able to create such a song, he has the disposition of an immortal. Back to the present, Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven, Merman Sacred City. Sea God Ceremony. Shaolin went on stage for the third song. The blue sea is laughing, the tidal waves are surging. Drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs, at this hectic mortal world. Who will win, who will lose, only heaven knows. The entire place was shocked, Su Yi turned pale. The outcome was already certain. Shaolin was already entranced in singing. At this moment, Master Chu's image was elevated infinitely in her heart, there was a moon and slight breeze in the background along with faint fog. The familiar melody rang once again in Fang Yuan's ears and intertwined with his memory. He had once stood on the stage as an accompanist, closing his eyes and slightly smiling. Now, he stood outside of the stage as a spectator, his eyes hiding dark light. After living for several hundred years, the vast power of time had changed him, but it also seemed like nothing had changed. He had always been Gu Fang Yuan. Chapter 1674. Sudden Change, Regret Gu. The Sea God ceremony ended, the result was astonishing, the person who became the saintess was completely unexpected by anyone, Shaolin. Saintess Palace shined with bright and gorgeous lights, a group of servants were running around. Shaolin had already changed into her saintess attire, she was dressed in a white garment while her tail rested on a lump of clouds. She opened the window and gazed at the large courtyard, those colorful corals could not attract her gaze. She looked dazed and unfocused. Several days have passed since the Sea God ceremony concluded, Master Chu has not appeared again after transmitting his message that day. When will he return? Saintess, your elder sister has come to pay a visit. At this moment, a maid lightly walked towards Shaolin and reported. Shaolin's brows slightly furrowed as she sighed, please bring her in. Shaolin's elder sister Zhao Lu walked into Saintess Palace. She was only Shaolin's elder sister in name, but after Fang Yuan tampered with her memories, this elder sister did not doubt Shaolin's identity. Little sister, have you considered what I said to you a few days ago? Zhao Lu said directly. Shaolin shook her head lightly. I am really sorry, I don't want to get involved in other affairs. The saintess position was never my goal, if possible, I do not want to be the saintess. Zhao Lu laughed. Her laughter carried a sense of ridicule and jealousy. She was narrowly defeated by Su Yi in the final stage, then Shaolin came out of nowhere and was supported by her backers just to give it a try. They had not thought Shaolin would truly succeed. The political force behind Zhao Lu, naturally, would not let go of Shaolin and wanted to make her their representative for benefits. But before Fang Yuan left, he had instructed Shaolin to not agree to any person or side with any political force. So Shaolin had already refused Zhao Lu a few days ago. Naturally, Zhao Lu's mood would not be so good. First of all, her long-lost little sister had suddenly appeared, besides the connection of blood, she did not feel any affection for this sister. Secondly, she had worked hard for so long, but in the end, Shaolin, who had cut in line, snatched the position of saintess. This was the same as snatching her lifelong dream. Lastly, the force behind her still made her come out to persuade and rope in her younger sister Shaolin, but Shaolin still refused. With all these reasons, Zhao Lu's mood naturally could not be good. Shaolin, if you truly didn't want to become saintess, why did you take part? Don't say such things to me, we both understand the situation here, tell me whatever requests you have, this deal will make you fully satisfied. Zhao Lu spoke frankly. Shaolin's brows furrowed deeper, she knew Zhao Lu was not her elder sister. This was just Master Chu's doing. And now that she heard such words from Zhao Lu, Shaolin's impression of her worsened greatly. Elder sister, Shaolin spoke softly, I am truly sorry, I really don't want to get involved in these matters. But you can rest assured that I won't collaborate with other forces as well. Zhao Lu's eyes opened wide. Shaolin, you are truly naive, you actually have such thoughts. I had thought you were waiting for the right price, sigh, I overestimated you. Since it is so, I will make it clear for you, you will die if you don't have our support, understand? Shaolin was stunned as she stared at Zhao Lu, don't tell me. Zhao Lu shook her head. Don't think wildly, we never had the intention to conspire against you even if you ended up not collaborating with us. You are the saintess, a person who has received the sea god's recognition, which merman force dares to make a move against you. Once the deed is exposed, they will face a terrible death. Every selected saintess has an important task. That is to go to demon suppression regret crying sea and sing for 3 days and 3 nights, using her song to eliminate the increasingly dense demonic aura in regret crying sea. This is an extremely dangerous task and has a very low survival rate. Many saintesses have passed away in regret-crying sea, some who came back alive turned crazy. Although the saintess position is good, it carries enormous risks and danger. If not for this task, there would be at least 10 times more mermaids competing for the position of saintess. There is such a thing. Shaolin was astonished. Zhao Lu laughed. You think I am deceiving you? This information might be hidden, but it is not any important secret. You can easily inquire about it with your current identity and position. You can casually find anyone to ask, but of course, ordinary mermen are in the dark about it. Among the sea areas controlled by the sacred court, the most dangerous is demon suppression regret-crying sea. It is an absolute forbidden area. According to legends, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable suppressed a peerless demonic Gu Immortal in this sea area. The Immortal Venerable was too benevolent to take away the demonic Gu Immortal's life, so he sealed the demonic Gu Immortal to make him repent. This demonic Gu Immortal had no choice but to repent, so there are often sounds of crying in that sea area. But his sins are truly too heavy and his demonic nature is too strong. The demonic aura will accumulate after a period of time and start influencing the living organisms in the sea area, making them stronger, ferocious and crueler. The saint's task is to go the center of demon suppression regret-crying sea and sing with all her strength, using her song to dispel the demonic aura. Otherwise, as time goes on, the demonic aura in demon suppression regret-crying sea will keep on getting stronger, making the living beings in the sea area become more tyrannical and invasive. This demonic aura is infectious as well, which will expand the area of demon suppression regret-crying sea. Shaolin showed a surprised expression as it was the first time she heard this secret. Even with support and ample preparations, the previous saintesses had to face extreme danger. If I go in alone without your help, it is almost like seeking death. Not almost, but definitely. Zhao Lu's tone was firm. She expected this could persuade Shaolin but did not expect Shaolin to still reject. Even so, I won't collaborate. Even if it will result in your death. Zhao Lu's expression was cold. It was not that Shaolin did not have hesitation, but the image of Fang Yuan in her mind made her insist on abiding by the agreement she made with Fang Yuan. Yes, I am sure, even if I die. Zhao Lu was so furious that she laughed. If so, I only wish you good luck. The sisters parted on a bad note. Haha, it finally appeared. In front of Merit Obelisk, Fang Yuan's eyes emitted bright light. A new task had appeared on Merit Obelisk. Help the new saintess complete her most important mission. The task did not provide any details. By only looking at this task, outsiders would have no idea what the mission was. But Fang Yuan had already inquired about it. In the Merman Sacred Court, the selected saintess had one important mission, to purify demon suppression regret-crying sea. Fang Yuan could only enter demon suppression regret-crying sea if there was such a task. But the issue was, Fang Yuan was not sure if this task would appear on the Merit Obelisk. So he needed to support a saintess, and this saintess should have low strength with no one to rely on. If so, the saintess would have no way to complete her mission and would require the help of outsiders. In this grotto heaven, there were no local Gu immortals besides the suppressed demonic immortal. Demon suppression regret-crying sea was extremely dangerous, accumulating demonic aura at set intervals. The restraining method of the grotto heaven was to select a saintess to quell it without regarding the sacrifices. The saint's mission was extremely important. If there was no successor to the saint's position for too long of a time, the demonic aura might even pervade the whole grotto heaven. But naturally, there might also be some backup methods left by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. What Fang Yuan did was to hasten the appearance of this task as far as possible. And from the results, his plan worked perfectly. Without any hesitation, Fang Yuan accepted the task and was once again teleported to Sacred City. Several days later, Saintess Shaolin stood on a giant tortoise that was slowly advancing towards demon suppression regret-crying sea. Behind her stood Fang Yuan. The journey was tranquil and calm, but all of a sudden, a gale blew towards them carrying with it crying sounds. I really regret it. Why did I have to provoke Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable? I regret it so much. Shaolin jolted, quickly looking at Fang Yuan. Master Chu. No worries. Fang Yuan smiled while secretly using wisdom path methods to calm Shaolin and the giant tortoise. The crying sounds seemed like an immortal killer move that could disturb an ordinary being's emotions and mind. The nearer they reached demon suppression regret-crying sea, the louder and more concentrated the crying sound became. I regret it. I should not have killed so many people. I painfully regret it. I should not have chased after power. It would have been much better if I had stayed behind to look after my parents as a filial son. I truly repent. I deceived everyone and concealed immortal Gu. I let a friend, who trusted me the most, carry the blame so I could get benefits. The mournful cries made Shaolin's face pale, while Fang Yuan instead became more excited because he already felt the large immortal formation in this place. I am now almost certain Regret Gu is here. But if I take Regret Gu, will it destroy Paradise Earth's arrangements and trigger his backup methods? Fang Yuan was doubtful. Regret Gu was very important, it was used to suppress the giant demon in the sea and was clearly not included in Paradise Earth's true inheritance. But as far as Fang Yuan was concerned, it was a crucial Gu worm he had to take and he had decided to take the risk. He focused his mind, activating investigative methods with all his strength. This demon suppression regret crying formation gradually appeared in his mind, becoming increasingly clearer. This time, it was Fang Yuan who became pale. Such a powerful formation, it is as vast as the sky. My formation path attainment level is high and I also have extremely powerful wisdom path methods, but I would need at least dozens of years to comprehend all the profundities of this large formation. Cold sweat started seeping out of Fang Yuan's forehead when his mind suddenly jolted. Regret Gu. He discovered Regret Gu. Although Regret Gu was hidden, Fang Yuan had already determined Regret Gu was hiding somewhere in the center of the sea area through all kinds of clues and arrangements. How should I take Regret Gu? If I move rashly and trigger the formation's backlash, it would end up badly. Maybe I can rely on reverse flow protection seal to resist it one time. Or borrow the strength of the suppressed demon. Fang Yuan analyzed continuously in his mind. If the demon was released, all the living beings of this small world might face extreme misery and suffering, but Fang Yuan had no misgivings or pity. Just as Fang Yuan was thinking, a change occurred. The large formation suddenly activated, Regret Gu shot out directly towards Fang Yuan. At the same time, an extremely boundless force emerged and pressed on Fang Yuan's body. What happened? At the next moment, Fang Yuan disappeared, directly leaving this grotto heaven of Paradise Earth. Chapter 1675, Birth of Red Lotus 2. Dark clouds covered the sky and heavy rain was pouring down. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. In Central Continent, inside the City Lord's manor in Maple Leaf City, the Maple Leaf City Lord was pacing back and forth outside a room. He had a square face and a dignified temperament. Right now, however, his brows were tightly furrowed and his mood was like this weather, erratic and uneasy, feeling extremely worried. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks and leaned in with his ear pressing on the door. Besides the torrential rainstorm and thunder, he could hear painful groans from his wife as well as several midwives' voices. Madam, push harder. Maple Leaf City Lord was already over 50 years old, he loved his wife deeply. He was a rank 5 GU master with the highest battle strength in all the surroundings, he had high authority as well as a leader's charisma, he was well supported by the people. The only imperfection was he had no children. 9 months ago, he had been ecstatic because his wife had finally gotten pregnant. He was going to have a child in his old age, his greatest regret was finally resolved. But despite him requesting for 3 famous midwives, 2 were rank 3 and 1 was rank 4, his wife's labor still encountered unexpected difficulty. How could this be? Maple Leaf City Lord wanted to get angry but had nothing to vent on. He clenched his fists, the battle strength, which he had been proud of in the past, was of no use at this moment. He had many healing GU worms but none of them was good at helping in childbirth. Oh, he could only restrain his mood, lowering his head as he once again paced back and forth in the corridor. Wah, wah wah. Suddenly, he heard an infant's cry. He then heard joyous laughter from the midwives. The child is born, it is a boy. Madam, you have succeeded. I have a child. My son. Maple Leaf City Lord was stunned for a moment before turning ecstatic, he opened the door impatiently and charged in to take a look. Right at this time, a peculiar fragrance spread within the room. This peculiar fragrance was refreshing and gentle. The fragrance started to become denser, condensing into rays of colorful lights, they were like streams of water that floated in the air, covering the whole manor as well as the surrounding hundreds of li. What is this? Maple Leaf City Lord stopped his steps in astonishment. But the real shock came next. These colorful flowing lights continued to increase in numbers and the fragrance also became increasingly intense. The rainstorm stopped abruptly, dark clouds slowly dissipated, sunlight pierced through the gaps between the dark clouds and shined down, the grandest ray of light among them shining on the delivery room of the City Lord's wife. Then, the flowing lights started to condense into a manor-sized red lotus flower that floated in the air. It was vivid and did not dissipate for a long time. Born with a natural phenomenon. Maple Leaf City Lord was shocked, his wife and the 3 midwives were also frozen from shock. At the same time, in the sky, 3 rank 8 GU immortals were standing on clouds and watching the city lord's manor in Maple Leaf City. They had seen the phenomenon when the baby was born. He has finally been born. The GU immortal in the middle, Duke May, heaved a long sigh. He was an old man with a benevolent countenance. His brows were particularly peculiar, they were like 2 exquisite dark brown roots that extended down from his forehead to his chest. This child is extraordinary indeed. He is blessed by the destined luck of humanity. His innate blessing is so dense that it actually condensed into a grand red lotus observable to the naked eye. He is absolutely an immortal venerable seed. It was worth it that our heavenly court used 3 wisdom path GU immortals to deduce him. Standing on the left, GU immortal Duke Tong sighed. 1. He was a middle-aged man with a very robust physique. His face and muscles seemed to be made from brass as they let out cold metallic glister. Standing on the clouds, he looked deep like a pool and lofty like a mountain, as if he was a Vajra tower that could not be moved even if heaven and earth shook, an absolute spirit that disregarded the storms. Duke May nodded. Among all the immortal venerables and demon venerables in history, they share a common characteristic: they all possess the destined luck of humanity. 1. It is just that in some cases, the luck is not conspicuous at the early stage and is deeply concealed. Only by a certain period would the luck activate. This child caused such a phenomenon when he is just born. No wonder heaven and earth cannot tolerate him and sent down calamities and tribulations to eliminate him. This is rare even in venerable history. If this child is nurtured properly, he will definitely become the most talented and outstanding existence among the venerables. Suddenly, Duke May's body shook as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Duke May. Duke Tong frowned. We suffered heavy injuries to block the calamities and tribulations. Duke May. The GU immortal standing at the right also revealed a concerned expression. He was a young man with a head full of purple hair, a dragon-shaped chiaura moved around his body continuously. Duke May looked at the young GU immortal. Duke Long, fate GU has given us the revelation, you share an extremely deep affinity with this child. This child will become a venerable and you are his Tao guardian. Go, take him as your disciple, guide him and nurture him. You will be the cause of his achievements as he will be the cause of yours. You two are destined to shine brightly in the history of humanity for all eternity. Yes, I shall go now. Young Duke Long nodded. Go. Duke Tong's brows were furrowed. When we return to Heavenly Court, Duke May and I shall enter a very long hibernation to recuperate. The era of the 3 Dukes of Heavenly Court is over. Duke Long, you will lead Heavenly Court, continue to bring prosperity to this world. I will. Duke Long restrained his excited emotions and slowly descended. His sleeves were fluttering with the wind, he waved his hand and boundless wind surged. Endless dragon roars were heard, attracting attention and shock from everyone. In this boundless wind, he slowly flew down and landed on the manor of Maple Leaf City Lord. Including Maple Leaf City Lord, all the guards were kneeling on the ground, many of them shivering like leaves. Maple Leaf City Lord was a knowledgeable man, knowing about GU Immortal's existence as well as knowing his strength could not even resist one finger of a GU Immortal. He forcibly calmed himself before paying respects. I, Hong Zhu, pay respects to Lord Immortal. I wonder what matter Lord Immortal has descended to the mortal world for. Duke Long smiled. Hong Zhu, your son is the blessed child of the world, a peerless genius that appears once in a million years with extremely rare innate talents. If he is nurtured well, he will definitely be outstanding. But if he lacks guidance, there will be huge danger to countless beings of this world, chaos would ensue. I was happy to see such a rare talent, and for the sake of humanity, I came here to take this child as my disciple. I will carefully raise and guide him, making him into a leader of the righteous path, a GU Immortal who seeks prosperity for the whole of humanity. Ah! Maple Leaf City Lord was both stunned and joyous at these words. He was shaken by Duke Long's words, but he had personally seen the natural phenomenon just before, and was actually somewhat mentally prepared. The joy was naturally because his son received a GU Immortal Master and had boundless future prospects, he would definitely surpass his parents. Although he was a city lord with high authority, he was nothing compared to this GU Immortal. But besides the shock and joy, Hong Zhu felt somewhat dejected. He got a child in his old age, it was not easy, but who could have thought that before he even got a chance to look at his son would be taken as a disciple by Lord Immortal. They would probably get very few chances to meet each other in the future. Duke Long immediately knew what Hong Zhu was thinking, consoling, rest assured, I came today only to explain this matter and not to take away your son immediately. I will only bring him away when he is 10 years old, which is the correct time to start teaching him. Hong Zhu immediately felt endless excitement and expressed his thanks repeatedly. At this time, the door opened. The city lord's wife had already cleaned herself up. She came out while holding the newly born baby along with the 3 midwives and knelt on the ground, paying respects to Duke Long. Duke Long's gaze was immediately attracted towards the baby. He laughed happily as he took a step forward, immediately arriving in front of the city lord's wife. He carefully held the baby and inspected him. This baby did not have any ugliness that a newly born baby had. His head was filled with dark hair and had a very attractive and cute face. His eyes shined brightly like stars, his skin was white and tender and his cheeks were chubby. At this time, the red lotus that was hovering in the air slowly descended while shrinking and condensing continuously. In Duke Long's vision, the red lotus eventually landed on the baby's forehead, condensing into a 9-petaled red lotus birthmark. A trace of shock flashed past Duke Long's eyes as he thought, this destined luck condensed into a birthmark, imprinted on his forehead. This phenomenon has not been seen in any venerable before. When my disciple becomes a venerable, he will probably be an extremely unique one. 1. As he thought of this, Duke Long felt like the light baby he was holding had become as heavy as a mountain. A strong sense of mission and responsibility filled Duke Long's mind. You don't need to kneel, please stand. After inspecting for a while more, Duke Long solemnly handed the baby back to the city lord's wife. He exhaled, 3 gusts of chi flashed by, 1 fell on the baby while the other 2 merged inside the city lord couple. The baby immediately fell asleep with a smile on his face. The city lord couple felt boundless strength filling their limbs and bones. The city lord's wife gave a cry of shock. The weakness from giving birth was gone instantly. She burst with energy as her body condition returned to when she was young. City Lord Hongzhu astonishingly discovered his old injuries were completely gone and his primeval essence had broken common sense, carrying a trace of green luster. His strength that was already at a level where it could not be raised further seemed to have been elevated by a large degree. Without immediately inspecting his changes, Hongzhu first gave thanks to Duke Long along with his wife. Duke Long waved his hand. You don't need to thank me because I still need your help. The parents and the master are not interchangeable with each other. I wish that you can love each other dearly and give your son deep care, let him feel the love and warmth of the world, this will be extremely helpful to his growth. 10 years later, I will come again. 1. Duke Long then slowly rose to the sky. Air currents surged around him and dragon roars were heard unceasingly, as if there was a formless wave of dragons. Mortals gazed towards the sky and saw Duke Long flying away until his figure was blocked by the clouds. After a while of deep silence, the whole city went into an uproar. Chapter 1676, What is Fate? It was a clear sky with no clouds anywhere. Maple Leaf City was bustling with people moving here and there. 6 years had passed since the city lord's son, Hong Ting, was born. In these 6 years, Maple Leaf City enjoyed a peaceful time with no calamities. Its size continued to expand unceasingly, already surpassing the original size by over 10 times, it had become the #1 human city in the surrounding plains. Chirp, chirp, a group of spiritual sparrows flew over from somewhere. Their whole bodies shined with golden light and were flying like they were dancing. They displayed extraordinary liveliness until they arrived at the top of the city lord's manor when suddenly, they imploded one after the other, bursting into specks of golden lights that sprinkled down. Inside the city lord's manor, Hong Ting was currently brandishing a short decorative sword. He was moving some ornamental mounds back and forth while skillfully swinging his sword. In an instant, Hong Ting's figure disappeared, sword lights formed into spheres which shined brightly everywhere. Great, amazing, young master truly has unrivaled talents, he has completely perfected this sword technique after just learning it for 3 months. Such a density of sword lights is simply unbelievable. The surrounding guards praised with sincerity from the depths of their hearts. City Lord Hongzhu stroked his beard and nodded with a smile. He was very proud of his son. As for the feeling of surprise, he had lost it a long time ago. Over these years, Hong Ting's aptitude and performance had changed his view and understanding multiple times. He now knew how shallow his comprehension of the word, genius, was. Because of the endless surprises throughout these years, Hongzhu had already become numb to them long ago. Now, everything involving his son was natural and a matter of fact. Clang, right at this time, a crisp sound echoed. Silver sword lights suddenly disappeared and Hong Ting's figure appeared once again, his short decorative sword had slashed apart a boulder. Cheers and praises immediately resounded. Father, I feel like this sword technique has not reached its limit, there is room for improvement. Hong Ting walked out from the group of ornamental mounds and said with a smile. Hongzhu laughed heartily. This sword technique belongs to the secret manual of a famous sword cultivator, Zhao Sanxi. I used a lot of treasures to exchange for it. You have only practiced for 3 months and already feel that it is not good enough. Hong Ting blinked with acute slyness in his eyes. Father, I only said that out of momentary inspiration. To tell the truth, this sword technique is only so-so. I have already learned all of its essence after practicing for 3 months. Hong Zhu coughed, feeling a bit of headache again. His son's talent was too great, he was fast at learning anything, he even went as far as to comprehend the deepest essence of those moves. This was good but also bad as well. Hong Zhu's accumulations were already used up several years ago by Hong Ting. He went through all kinds of avenues to search for secret manuals to teach Hong Ting, but it still could not match Hong Ting's ability to absorb knowledge like a black hole. If this continued for a long time, what could he do? Right at this time, a group of spiritual sparrows flew over their heads and suddenly imploded into golden light specks. The light specks fell and got absorbed into everyone's head, but most of the light specks were absorbed by Hong Ting alone. Instantly, everyone had joyous expressions. They had received inheritances and all sorts of peculiar secret manuals. This is the gift of yet another immortal. I wonder which immortal this is. We should thank young master, we are all enjoying his fortune. The guards looked at Hong Ting passionately, even Hong Zhu's gaze carried a trace of complex feelings. Hong Ting had closed his eyes, immersed completely in the newly obtained sea of knowledge. Hong Zhu and the rest were already not surprised at this scene, even the commoners outside the city lord's manor were only slightly surprised before returning to their business. Unusual phenomena and immortal miracles were fascinating, but when they happened too many times, they would start feeling bland and ordinary. The immortal miracles appearing around Hong Ting could not be said to be a lot, it was at a mind-numbing level that was simply overflowing with such incidents. Since he was born and taken as a disciple by Duke Long, immortal phenomena would frequently occur around him. Duke Long was the leader of Heavenly Court, not mentioning the rank 8 GU immortals in Heavenly Court, just the 10 great ancient sects under Heavenly Court were colossal forces with extremely robust foundations. Duke Long had taken in this disciple with great publicity, he did not conceal anything. Everyone understood his intentions, so whether it was Central Continent's righteous path, demonic path, or lone immortals, they all paid extreme attention to Hong Ting's growth. Hong Ting was the blessed child of the world, a future immortal venerable who would be cultivated by Heavenly Court, this was not a secret. So, every so often, GU immortals or descendants of GU immortals would secretly help Hong Ting, to build a good affinity and relationship with him in advance. As a result, the Golden Sparrow inheritance gift was not strange, there were also spiritual cranes imparting scrolls, auspicious clouds sending fruits, sacred wind marrow cleansing, and all sorts of unusual immortal level phenomena that appeared endlessly. After a long while, Hong Ting completely absorbed the knowledge in his brain but his brows furrowed into a frown. There are 18 types of weapon training methods, each one is exquisite and unique, but there is still no mention of any advanced aperture awakening method. Father, when can I awaken my aperture and control GU worms? No matter how excellent these fighting techniques are, they are only mortal techniques. Controlling GU worms is the only true way. Son, don't be in a hurry. You have once again forgotten what your master instructed in his letter. Hong Zhu said with a pleasant smile. Hong Ting waved his hand impatiently. Father, I know. Master said that although I can awaken my aperture in advance, I must do it only when I am 12. Before the timing and opportunity is right, I cannot do it in advance. I am really curious, Master has such vast powers, why can't he awaken my aperture now? Hong Zhu's expression became slightly grave. Son, your master is an immortal, you cannot understand what he is thinking but you have to obey. You need to understand that he absolutely won't harm you, he cherishes you just like how father and mother treasure you. Yes, father, I was wrong, please don't get angry. Hong Ting quickly cupped his fists, he was very filial to his parents. Time passed, years passed in an instant. Duke Long appeared once again and formally took Hong Ting as his disciple. He took Hong Ting to roam all over the world while personally guiding him. When Hong Ting was 12, Duke Long awakened his aperture. Hong Ting officially stepped on the path of GU cultivation, and because of his peerless talent and robust foundation, his cultivation progress was shockingly fast. Not only in his cultivation, his experiences also richened constantly on this journey. He met many people, mortals and immortals, kind people and evil people. His knowledge of human life and heaven and earth was constantly deepening. He had a strong sense of justice and loathed evil, he looked handsome and kind but was crafty and resourceful as well. Master, I have found that evil Shui Tu Dao who slaughtered an entire village, he is staying at a nearby mountain. On this day, Hong Ting returned to the cave from hunting and spoke to Duke Long with excitement. Duke Long nodded with a smile. Take a seat first, the soup is almost ready. This soup is made from the bones of an ancient desolate beast, it will be very helpful to your growth. Hong Ting threw down the prey he hunted, saying with clenched teeth, Master, I have been wanting to take action on Shui Tu Dao for over a year and get rid of this evil, but you said I only had rank 3 cultivation while he had rank 5, I was not his match so you didn't allow me to go. Half a year ago, I already had rank 4 cultivation and 8 killer moves, I had an extremely high chance of taking Shui Tu Dao's life but you said that it was not 100% so you didn't let me make a move. 3 months ago, I already reached rank 5 and could easily deal with Shui Tu Dao in 2 to 3 moves, but you said it was not time to take his life. Master, if we let such an evil person run amok, who knows how many more innocent lives would be lost. Let me strike now. Duke Long put down the ladle and let the bone soup simmer as he said with a sigh, Disciple, the opportunity has not arrived. I don't care about any opportunity, I only know that if I don't make a move now, I would lose a good opportunity. Hong Ting was extremely firm. Duke Long shook his head. Now is not the time for Shui Tu Dao to die. If you forcibly kill him, not only will it be futile and fruitless, you will even create certain aftermath which will lead to tragedy. I don't believe it, I only need one move to take his life. Hong Ting raised one finger, staring right into Duke Long's eyes with a burning gaze. Duke Long went silent for a while, then go, young man, give it a try. Thank you master, Hong Ting was exalted, I just hope that you will not be disappointed when the time comes. Why will I be disappointed? Master, please wait a moment, disciple will return with Shui Tu Dao's head within 15 minutes. Hong Ting turned around and left. But 15 minutes passed, 30 minutes went by and soon it reached 45 minutes, Hong Ting still did not appear. Duke Long saw everything, he knew the timing was right as he left the cave and crossed a forest, arriving beside Hong Ting. Hong Ting was kneeling on the ground, his face filled with shock, anger, and deep regret. He was dazedly looking at the foot of the mountain, a small village had once been there where the villagers lived happily. His eyes were red and filled with traces of blood. He saw Duke Long and raised his head, tear stains were still clear on his face. Master, I did not imagine there to be a Gu immortal inheritance here. That Shui Tu Dao secretly came here to obtain this inheritance. After I destroyed his plan, he used the inheritance's power to stop me and although I fought with all my strength, I did not think the battle would cause the mountain to crumble. Unexpectedly the small village was completely buried. Master, it was me, I caused the death of these villagers. Hong Ting sobbed. Duke Long did not console him, he was silent for a while before suddenly saying, Disciple, do you want revenge? Do you want to get rid of Shui Tu Dao? The opportunity has arrived. Really, where is he? Hong Ting's body shook, asking immediately. At that mountain, Duke Long pointed. Hong Ting immediately hurried off and easily killed Shui Tu Dao. I was so close, I already obtained the true inheritance and only had to absorb the gains. The moment I narrowly escaped death, you came after me. If I had some time, I would not be afraid, I could have become a Gu immortal. These were Shui Tu Dao's last words before he died. Hong Ting was silently standing before Shui Tu Dao's corpse. Duke Long appeared behind Hong Ting once again, remaining silent. After a good while, Hong Ting stopped looking at Shui Tu Dao's corpse in a daze as he asked with an extremely hoarse voice, Master, had I listened to your arrangements, I could have easily killed him and those villagers would not have been implicated, is that right? Duke Long did not reply, only softly patting Hong Ting's shoulder. Hong Ting's body shook as he fell into a deep silence before asking, Master, I want to ask you, what is fate? Chapter 1677, I regret it. Fate, Duke Long sighed with a deep and complex expression. He walked towards a rock and patted beside him, indicating Hong Ting to have a seat. Hong Ting followed Duke Long and sat cross-legged. Look, Duke Long pointed at the rock he was sitting on. Hong Ting quickly looked, he saw a small group of ants moving beside the rock. They were moving in an orderly fashion, returning to their nest with food. This is fate, Duke Long continued. What? Look again. Duke Long pointed at the sky. Hong Ting gazed at the sky, clouds of all kinds of shapes were moving in the sky. This also is fate, Duke Long said. Hong Ting's mind jolted as if he had comprehended something. Master, you mean to say? He did not continue, he had gained some comprehension but was unable to express them in words at this time. Ants transporting food, bees collecting honey, wind blowing, clouds floating, everything in this world have their own paths to walk on. To us, they might look like they don't follow any rules, but they are actually moving according to the rules of the Great Tao. 1. Look at the moon and sun. Every day, the sun rises and the moon falls, the moon rises and the sun falls. Look at a human's life and death. No matter who they are, be they an immortal venerable or a demon venerable, they will die in the end. Everything is fate. Every person, every living being, even every rock, every drop of water, every lump of fire, since they exist in this world, they will have value and meaning in their existence. Good and evil is also the same. Without good, how would there be evil? Without evil, why talk about good? You were in a hurry to kill Shui Tu Dao and did not see his value. Since heaven and earth let him exist, there is definitely a reason for his life. This is fate. Fate already has arrangements for everything in the world, it is just that we can only slightly feel this kind of arrangement and cannot see it clearly. Not being able to see clearly is normal. The laws of heaven and earth, the great Tao of the universe, even if an immortal uses all their life, they would not be able to understand them thoroughly. We are too weak, too small, while heaven and earth is too vast. We should revere heaven and earth, follow the arrangements of the heavenly fate, and bring fortune to the world. Your parents' marriage was fate's arrangement, their greatest value was to bring you into this world. You will become an immortal venerable in the future, this is also fate's arrangement. You need to accept it, climb to the peak step by step, let heavenly court and contribute your life to the righteous path. And my greatest value in life is to teach and guide you towards the proper path. I am your Tao guardian. Believe in fate, acknowledge fate, all its arrangements have their own reasons. If we forcibly interfere, it will lead to tragedy and regret. Just like how you tried to take Shui Tu Dao's life early, but were you able to kill him? Duke Long shook his head. No. Although your strength surpassed his, you encountered all kinds of unexpected situations. In the end, not only did you fail to kill him, you even implicated innocent lives. Think back on it, if you had listened to fate's arrangements and attacked Shui Tu Dao at his weakest moments, would you still have encountered those accidents? I will tell you, the value of Shui Tu Dao's existence was to activate this Gu immortal inheritance, to open the way and hand this inheritance to you. Hong Ting was dazed, he was motionless like a statue. 2 clear rows of tears fell from his eyes as he choked. Master, I was wrong. It is good to know your mistakes and change them. Actually, your wrong choice was also fate's arrangement. Duke Long said. Master, what do you mean? We are all under fate's arrangements. You thought you could defy fate, but your thought was also fate's arrangement. You don't need to feel guilty, you should comprehend fate's intention. You think your wrong choice was of no value. Wrong. Every mistake has an inestimable value to a youth's growth. If you can absorb the lesson from this mistake, acknowledge fate's existence and accept it, then this mistake would have shown its value. That village's destruction also has its value. Duke Long then took a deep look at Hong Ting. My disciple, you are a talented and intelligent child, a good child, but I worry because you emphasize on feelings too much. You already have rank 5 cultivation now. Among the paths to ascend to an immortal, you will probably choose wisdom path, right? Master, your vision is unparalleled. I indeed have such thoughts. I feel like wisdom path is extremely suitable for me. Hong Ting said truthfully. Duke Long shook his head. Wisdom path focuses on thought, will, and emotion. You emphasize on feelings too much, so studying emotions has more demerits than benefits to you. Listen to Master, choose time path. When you can view the past and present, observe the rise and decline of history, all sorts of honor and disgrace, you will understand that all feelings and romance will be cleansed by time. I have received revelation from Fate Gu, time path suits you the most. Hong Ting opened his mouth slightly, wanting to say something, but he nodded in the end. Disciple shall abide by Master's teachings and choose time path. Duke Long nodded in satisfaction. That's good, Master is your Tao guardian, pointing you towards the correct path is the meaning behind my existence. Time slowly moved forward. Hong Ting chose time path, and under Duke Long's protection, successfully passed his immortal ascension tribulation, becoming a time path Gu immortal. Lord Immortal Hong Ting, that demon has proclaimed he is going to slaughter the whole city unless I give my daughter to him as a concubine. He is a great Gu immortal, we are only mortals. We truly are unable to do anything, considering the friendship between me and your father, I implore you to eliminate this demon. An old city lord paid a visit, kneeling to the ground as he made his request to Hong Ting. Hong Ting recognized him, this city lord's city was close to Maple Leaf City. They had frequent dealings with each other, this city lord and his father indeed had a close friendship. He had even seen this city lord's daughter and had played with her when they were young. Old senior, please get up. I will definitely help. It is just that, Hong Ting paused for a moment, the opportunity has not arrived. The old city lord was exalted. Since Lord Immortal has replied, this old man shall be rest assured. I believe Lord Immortal will not go back on his words. Hong Ting waited till it was the correct time to kill this demonic Gu Immortal. He attacked resolutely and killed this demon easily. However, the old city lord was kneeling on the ground, gazing at the city filled with ruins and corpses as he cried in sadness, "This accursed demon is finally dead. My good daughter, the inhabitants of my city, you can rest in peace now, your hatred has been avenged." Disciple pays respect to master. I wonder what matter master has called me for. Hong Ting went up to Duke Long. Disciple, master has sensed fate. Floating Flower River is about to flood, the river channel has diverged. I want you to go save people. Remember, don't make a move early, you can only do so after 3 days and 3 nights. Duke Long instructed carefully. Yes, master. Hong Ting came to the floating flower riverbank and looked at the flooding river water. Countless living beings were forced to be homeless, while many drowned corpses were floating on the surface. He forcibly restrained his emotions and waited for 3 days and 3 nights. But at that time, he found that he did not even need to make a move, the river water retreated by itself, swamps appearing in many areas. A wild immortal Gu's aura emerged and was actually not far away from Hong Ting. Hong Ting easily subdued this wild immortal Gu. Great Gu, it is actually a rank 7-time path Gu which is perfect for me. Howl, the wild immortal Gu's aura attracted 2 ancient desolate beasts. Hong Ting's expression turned solemn as he concealed himself. He waited for these 2 ancient desolate beasts to kill each other. After one died and another was injured, he made his move, getting these 2 ancient desolate beast corpses easily. Wonderful, wonderful. Gazing at the traces of the battlefield, Hong Ting suddenly came to a realization. So it turns out this was fate's arrangement. With the battle of the 2 ancient desolate beasts, Floating Flower River has expanded by several times its width while its river channel has been dyed by the ancient desolate beast's blood, becoming much thicker. From now on, Floating Flower River will probably not flood again. There are also these plots of land beside Floating Flower River which will become extremely fertile as they are soaked in the essence blood and corpses of countless beings. In the future, the mortals who live here will truly be fortunate. Bull-headed demon brute, let go of my parents now, otherwise, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. Hong Ting furiously glared at the bull-headed demonic immortal. The bull-headed demonic immortal held Hong Ting's parents in each of his hands, laughing loudly, "Kid, you are very arrogant, you want to get rid of me. When I became a Gu immortal, you were still suckling milk as a baby. Are you scared now?" Hong Ting had to restrain himself and could only shout in anger. Bull-headed demon brute quickly shouted, "Don't come over, don't be impulsive. Don't you want your parents' lives? If you come over, I will directly crush your parents' heads." "What do you want?" Hong Ting shouted. Bull-headed demon brute gave a malevolent smile, "Now we are talking. As long as you hand over my lifespan Gu, I will return your parents to you. If not, I only have a few days to live anyway, I will just die with your parents." Hong Ting was immediately dazed. According to fate's arrangements, those 2 wild lifespan Gu should indeed go to bull-headed demon brute. But Hong Ting saw his parents getting old and reaching their life's limit, so he seized those 2 lifespan Gu without telling Duke Long. Who could have thought that bull-headed demon brute would come and bring disaster to his parents? In an instant, Hong Ting's face became deathly pale and his forehead was filled with cold sweat. "I have already used those 2 lifespan Gu. "I know, you used them on your parents." Bull Demon was not surprised. "But, you are Duke Long's disciple, a future immortal venerable who will lead Heavenly Court. I don't believe Heavenly Court's treasury does not have any lifespan Gu. Bring 300 years, no, 3,000 years lifespan Gu and I will release your parents." Hong Ting was now caught in a dilemma. In the end, through twists and turns, he finally forced bull-headed demon brute to retreat. But his parents were irrecoverably injured, even immortal methods could not heal them. "Father, mother, I harmed you. If I had not taken lifespan Gu for you, you would still have several years left." Hong Ting knelt down and cried. Hong Zhu, however, smiled, "Son, life and death is up to fate, fortune is up to heaven. Humans have to die sooner or later, this world has long life but is there anyone who can live forever? No, we are fated to die, you don't need to feel sad for us. On the contrary, you should be happy for us. The 2 of us could have a son like you, a future immortal venerable, how great of an honor is this, we will definitely be noted down in history because of you." Madam Hong also said, "My son, listen to your father, be a good person, you must be righteous." The old couple grasped each other's hands and died at the same time. Father, mother, Hong Ting held towards the sky. Bright light accumulated in Hong Ting's eyes. Through the passing of time, experience and maturity made him full of manly charisma. The setting sun illuminated the lush green hill. Under the setting sun, he saw Lu Shuxian for the first time. Two pairs of eyes met each other, both felt their hearts pulsing, an indescribable atmosphere rapidly spread. Love at first sight, Lu Shuxian revealed a strange expression, asking softly, "Who are you?" Hong Ting, however, felt no surprise. He replied with a smile, "I am your fated husband, my name is Hong Ting." Lu Shuxian was astonished. "You are the future immortal Venerable." "Don't be surprised, our encounter here was determined by fate." Love gave Hong Ting a feeling of satisfaction and bliss that he had never experienced before. He and Lu Shuxian always kept each other's company and had a lot in common. It was like they were born for each other, like a key to a lock, they were a natural couple. They roamed the world together, they conversed and dined under the moon. They had great chemistry, an eye signal to the other could express their inner heart and even convey all their intention to the other's mind. They were a true immortal couple, living together for hundreds of years. They supported each other in the path of cultivation, there was not even one fight or a moment where they were vexed at each other. Lu Shuxian accompanied Hong Ting all the way to rank 8 peak, and finally to rank 9 venerable realm. The tribulation was unimaginable, but Hong Ting still succeeded in the end. Duke Long was heavily injured due to this, several heavenly court GU immortals perished, while Hong Ting held Lu Shuxian's gradually freezing body with tears all over his face. He tightly held Lu Shuxian, repeatedly saying, don't leave me, I beg you, please live. It's no use, I have been struck by the tribulation. Having a trace of my soul left to take a final look at you is already an enormous fortune. How could I possibly ask for more? Lu Shuxian smiled. I am useless. I underwent tribulation but implicated you. Hong Ting's head was lowered with tears rolling down his eyes. No, Hong Ting, that tribulation could only have been blocked by my special physique. Even if you all sacrificed your lives, you would only have failed. I was born with one of the 10 extreme physiques and encountered you, it was all fate's arrangement. In your fatal moment, I suddenly understood the greatest meaning of my life, it was to protect you, to block the tribulation for you and help you ascend to the position of an immortal venerable. Now I have accomplished it. No, Xian, I would rather not be an immortal venerable, I only want you to live, Hong Ting roared helplessly, his body was shaking and his tears were falling. Everything and everyone in this world has its own respective fate, it is fixed. Hong Ting, you cannot have such thoughts, you need to live on properly, your fate is to become an immortal venerable, lead heavenly court and spread the glory of the righteous path throughout the 5 regions. Do you know? I had always been wanting to see that scene, standing by your side and accompanying you as you bring fortune to the world with invincible might. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see it. Lu Shuxian's life force gradually fell, until she died. Hong Ting's head was lowered and his back was bent deeply like an old man, a heavy shadow shrouded his face. At this moment, he seemed to have lost all signs of life. He was motionless like a statue. In his immortal aperture, the remaining heaven and earth chi gathered and merged, refining a rank 8 immortal GU according to his current mental state. This GU had the form of a centipede, its whole body was pale white like paper. Unlike centipedes, its legs were replaced by 100 feelers. Every feeler was translucent, gently floating in the air, agitating hearts and continuously raising the deepest regretful feelings. Rank 8 Regret GU. Cough. Duke Long coughed out several mouthfuls of blood, he forcibly stood up and walked to Hong Ting's side. Lu Shuxian's death was not without meaning, it was worthy and valuable, there is no need for sadness, my dear disciple. This was all fate's arrangement. Now, you are already an immortal venerable, rank 9 venerables are extremely rare even in the long history of humanity. You still have a long life ahead, your mission has just started. I will abdicate my position, heavenly court as well as the 5 regions and 2 heavens need you. Hong Ting, Duke Long softly called. Hong Ting slowly raised his head, he did not look at Duke Long, his gaze was still on Lu Shuxian's icy corpse. He replied lightly, I regret it. Chapter 1678. Immortal Venerable regrets, but I do not. What did you say? Duke Long did not hear clearly. I said, I regret it. Hong Ting said again. Duke Long's brows immediately furrowed, using a stern gaze to look at his proudest disciple, regret. Oh Hong Ting, don't speak of such nonsense again. You are clear of it. How many people dedicated and sacrificed themselves to cultivate and support you until you reached your current cultivation level? If you say such things, would you be doing justice to those people who have helped you throughout your life? Would you be doing justice to your parents? Justice to your late wife Lu Xian? Justice to the immortals who helped you pass the tribulation and sacrificed themselves? Duke Long berated Hong Ting sternly. All right, Lord Duke Long, Lu Xian's death is a great tragedy. We can understand Red Lotus Immortal Venerable's feelings. He is only in a temporarily agitated state. The other Heavenly Court GU Immortals attempted to mediate. Red Lotus Immortal Venerable hee. Hong Ting laughed with disdain. He gazed at Duke Long with his bloodshot eyes. If such sacrifices are required and there will be even more sacrifices in the future for this immortal venerable position, then I would rather not have it. Enough, Duke Long shouted in rage. I will not allow you to speak any more nonsense, Hong Ting. You think your immortal venerable position can be gained or abandoned at your will? This is all fate's arrangement, this is the mission of your life, you must accept it no matter what. Hong Ting laughed loudly, his hair was messy, he was in a miserable state. He lowered his head and looked at Duke Long. A grand immortal venerable, invincible in the world, actually cannot do as he pleases, he cannot even reject this immortal venerable position. Duke Long snorted coldly. Tell me, Hong Ting, who can do as they please in this world? Your thoughts are too childish. You think becoming an immortal venerable and leading the righteous path would not need sacrifices. What is there in this world that has no price to pay for? How shallow do you think the words, righteous path, are? Wrong. Maintaining Heavenly Court's righteous path requires you to pay a price, it requires sacrifices. If you don't even have this sacrificial mentality, then I will tell you, you don't have the qualifications to enter Heavenly Court. Hong Ting's body shook. Lord Duke Long, Lord Immortal Venerable, please calm yourselves. We should recuperate and heal our injuries now instead of quarreling. The other GU Immortals repeatedly tried persuading. Hong Ting slowly lowered his head, but his fists were slowly clenched tight as he said with an incomparably firm tone, I want to revive them. Duke Long's brows raised, his face cold as ice. Who do you want to revive? Every person who sacrificed themselves for me. My parents, Lu Xian, and many others. Presumptuous, Duke Long suddenly shouted while pointing at Hong Ting, how could you have such a heretical thought? Exclamation mark. You know it clearly, I have also told you several times, life and death is determined by fate, life and death is the rule of the great Tao, any living being's life and death is arranged by fate. You want to revive the dead? Are you trying to send the entire world into chaos? Have you not learned yet? The more you think like that, the more cruel tragedies will happen around you. Even if there are crueler tragedies, I will accept them. Master, disciple always had a question. Why must we accept fate's arrangements? If there was no fate, would the world truly fall into chaos? Is it not possible that the world will become a better place? Hong Ting asked in an anxious tone. Duke Long's body shook with anger, even the persuading Heavenly Court GU Immortals slowly took a step back, looking at Hong Ting as if he was someone unfamiliar. Lord Immortal Venerable, your thought is too dangerous. Right, without fate, our human race would not be prosperous. Fate GU is Heavenly Court's supreme treasure, Lord Immortal Venerable actually wants to destroy it. This. All of you, Hong Ting looked at the surrounding GU Immortals, he felt an indescribably deep loneliness at this moment. Time flowed, who knows how long had passed. A lonely figure appeared in the river of time. His hair was messy, his face was filled with the vicissitudes of life, like a man who had roamed the world but had no place to call home. His face still had the former Hong Ting's shadow, but his expression had already changed completely. Red Lotus Demon Venerable looked at the endlessly flowing river of time as he sighed, it is time to leave behind my inheritance. He slowly descended, his feet stopped right before he touched the river of time. This first Stone Lotus Island will also be the most important Stone Lotus Island. I will use Regret GU as its core and leave this behind for the otherworldly demon, for the person who has the greatest hope of destroying fate. Thereupon, a Stone Lotus Island gradually appeared in this world. Red Lotus Demon Venerable left behind rank 8 Regret GU here as well as a large amount of Time Path Immortal materials, Immortal Killer moves, a portion of his true meaning that contained his true memories of a certain period of time, as well as an Immortal Killer move with an unparalleled effect. After finishing the arrangement, Red Lotus Demon Venerable flew away slowly with his exhausted body. Time flew by, who knows how long had passed. An outsider charged into this Stone Lotus Island. He was dressed in rough clothing, he had a thin-looking body and a bald head, he had an ordinary appearance. He was barefooted, his legs were even stained with some mud, like a farmer who had returned from a day of work in the fields. However, his face looked very young, his eyes were glistening brightly, filled with compassion and benevolence. Red Lotus, true meaning appeared, condensing into an illusory image of Red Lotus demon Venerable who smiled towards the barefooted young-looking man. Welcome, my honorary guest. I am Paradise Earth, I finally found this place after immense effort. This person was Paradise Earth, who had already become an Immortal Venerable. Red Lotus, true meaning directly asked, Immortal Venerable, what is the purpose for your visit? Paradise Earth smiled. Senior Red Lotus, why ask when you already know? Red Lotus, true meaning also smiled. You are right, fate has only been damaged, not completely destroyed, so everything is still traceable and observable from the river of time. Pausing for a moment, Red Lotus, true meaning continued. I can lend you regret Gu, as for your intention to steal my inheritor, that will depend on your ability. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable looked solemn. Although he is an otherworldly demon, he is not an emotionless person. Put down the blade to reach redemption, it is never too late to turn back. Who does not want to seek redemption? I am willing to give it a try. Red Lotus, true meaning laughed, alright. My main body still had some worries when constructing this island. After all, I am not entirely confident in defending against Heavenly Court. However, since you are taking action, then there is no worry. This is Regret Gu, catch it properly. Regret Gu flew over slowly. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable stretched his hands, which were covered in radiance, and carefully received it. It is indeed worthy of being Regret Gu, it constantly draws out boundless regretful feelings. Only a person with not even a little bit of regret is immune to this greatest flaw. Otherwise, any Gu immortal who approaches it will feel incomparable pain and regret. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable smiled bitterly. If not for my rank 9 cultivation level, I might not be able to suppress it. Looks like you also have regret in your heart. Red Lotus, true meaning sighed. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable smiled lightly. Who in this world does not have any regrets in their life? Putting Regret Gu into his immortal aperture, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable bowed towards Red Lotus, true meaning solemnly, I take my leave, I will definitely send him here. Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes, the dazed expression slowly dissipated from his eyes. He went through this memory that Red Lotus Demon Venerable had left here and understood the cause and result of everything. I never expected to directly arrive at the Stone Lotus Island. Red Lotus Demon Venerable and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, even though both have already perished, their arrangements are still in effect. Fang Yuan sighed before looking at Red Lotus, true meaning as well as rank 8 Regret Gu that was already floating before him. Red Lotus, true meaning smiled. Fang Yuan, you are finally here. There is no need to say anything else, I believe you will try your best to destroy Fate Gu. So, accept my true inheritance, it has already waited for you for over 1,000,000 years. Comment. Fang Yuan nodded and extended his hand, trying to grasp Regret Gu. Red Lotus, true meaning reminded him quickly. Careful, Regret Gu cannot be touched directly, otherwise even if you refine it, you will be drowned in endless regrets. I have already prepared a method for you, you only need. There is no need for that. Fang Yuan's expression was indifferent as he grabbed Regret Gu and instantly refined it. Red Lotus, true meaning was stunned. You. Chapter 1679. Red Lotus, True Inheritance. The surging river was always flowing from past to present to future. Fang Yuan stood at the edge of Red Lotus, Stone Island, looking at the river of time with a tranquil expression and a deep gaze. The river of time could be said to be the most special secluded domain of heaven and earth. Because it traversed the entire world, without its existence and movement, the whole Gu Master World would become a still picture without any changes or vitality. Fang Yuan had seized Danghun Mountain and Luokou Valley, these two secluded domains of heaven and earth belonged to him, but he absolutely could not seize the whole river of time. This secluded domain of heaven and earth belonged to all beings of this world. Every beast, every grass, every rock, every drop of water, they all enjoyed the benefits derived from the river of time. Even Gu immortals could at most only possess a tributary of the river of time in their immortal aperture. The river of time was the collective wealth of the whole world. Every drop of the water of time was a transparent pale white. A gazillion droplets of water crashed, intertwined, collided, and spun each time, giving off a brilliant light show. Thus, the surface of the river of time was always covered in a thin layer of ever-changing radiance. This was the area with the greatest amount of time path Dao marks in the whole world, the largest congregation of time path. Fang Yuan stood at the edge of the island and saw several year beasts, a one-finger flow shark, and large numbers of time path wild GU worms in just a short while of observation. The river of time was overflowing with vitality. Several days had passed since Fang Yuan arrived at this Red Lotus Stone Island. In this period of time, he had completely absorbed Red Lotus, true meaning, his time path attainment level soared rapidly, reaching an unimaginable height, time path quasi-supreme Grand Master. With this attainment level, Fang Yuan had many new insights when he looked at the river of time. These feelings were not superficial, instead it pierced into the essence of the river of time, mesmerizing Fang Yuan the more he looked at it. Pinnacle profundities of the great Tao were in front of his eyes, quietly lifting a corner of a mysterious veil, allowing him to begin understanding this world and the principle of its operation. Although he gained refinement path quasi-supreme Grand Master attainment previously, his experience at that time had not been as deep as now. After all, Fang Yuan was currently in the secluded domain of heaven and earth, river of time. Time path quasi-supreme Grand Master attainment level gave Fang Yuan comprehensive growth in all aspects. For instance, the mysterious immortal killer move time cutting edge, Fang Yuan now had the ability to completely understand its essence and change the GU worms involved, restoring its original might. Another example was Sha Cha's time path immortal GU and immortal killer moves. Fang Yuan could now modify them and make them suited for himself. The greatest growth was in time path immortal GU recipes. With both time path and refinement path at quasi-supreme Grand Master level, Fang Yuan had a very high assurance in modifying any time path immortal GU recipes and refining time path immortal GU. There was no doubt that Red Lotus, true meaning, was the most valuable treasure. Below it was the rank 8 immortal GU, regret. Not mentioning this GU's legendary status, just based on its rank 8 level, its value was extraordinary. With this GU worm, Fang Yuan now had 5 rank 8 GU worms: Attitude, Wisdom Sword, Years Flow Like Water, Soul Beast Token, and Regret. Fang Yuan could now construct Regret Pool with no obstacles. Of course, difficulty was still there, but the greatest hurdle had become non-existent because of Regret GU. Back when Red Lotus Demon Venerable arranged this true inheritance, he had deduced Fang Yuan's situation and thus prepared a large amount of time path immortal materials. With Regret GU and time path immortal materials, Fang Yuan only needed to follow the procedures and spend some time to construct Regret Pool. He could even build an immortal GU house better than Regret Pool. With all these, Fang Yuan could begin to refine GU en masse. On one hand, he could refine a lot more time path immortal GU, on the other hand, he could advance the rank of the immortal GU he already had. These time path immortal materials left behind by Red Lotus Demon Venerable were of high rank. The lowest was rank 7 while there was a large amount of rank 8 immortal materials. Were Heavenly Court to see this, they would cough out a large mouthful of blood. They tried all methods to disturb Fang Yuan and obstruct him from purchasing time path immortal materials without hesitating on paying a huge price. This had indeed created huge trouble for Fang Yuan, but all their actions turned out to be of no use now. Red Lotus, true meaning, rank 8 immortal GU regret, large amounts of time path immortal materials, as well as immortal killer moves. Among the immortal killer moves, the greatest gains were immortal killer moves that used Spring-Autumn Cicada as the core. The most important thing Fang Yuan cared about was the Spring-Autumn Success Killer move. This move used several supplementary immortal GU, and with the activation of Spring-Autumn Cicada, its success rate would reach 100%. Simply using Spring-Autumn Cicada had too low of a success rate. It also had the disadvantage of greatly decreasing luck. But although Spring-Autumn Success immortal killer move still had the disadvantage of reducing luck, the failure rate was lowered to 0. With this move, Spring-Autumn Cicada's practicality obtained an enormous boost. Fang Yuan had already decided to prepare this killer move. Almost all the immortal killer moves were in the form of information and required Fang Yuan to personally prepare them. But one time path killer move had been specially activated by Red Lotus Demon Venerable and left for Fang Yuan. The former rank 9 killer move, after over a million years, had its power greatly reduced but was still effective. The name of this time path killer move, Future Self. This move relied on the River of Time and Red Lotus Stone Island. The GU immortal user could temporarily borrow the use of a certain future state of his life. For instance, a GU master who had only rank 5 cultivation, but in the future, would successfully pass his ascension tribulation and become rank 6. Under the use of Future Self, he could borrow the body of his future GU immortal self and temporarily gain a GU immortal's cultivation level. Even Fang Yuan was speechless at the mysterious and terrifying powers of this move. Unfortunately, this move had already weakened to rank 7 level and was of no use to Fang Yuan. In Red Lotus Demon Venerable's deduction, Fang Yuan would have rank 7 cultivation when he found this stone island. But Red Lotus Demon Venerable was after all not a Wisdom Path Immortal Venerable. Even if he were a Wisdom Path Immortal Venerable, there could still be flaws in the deductions. Especially in the situation when Fate Gu was injured and Luck Path emerged, everything had become much more difficult to predict. My cultivation is already rank 8, I can only give this future self-killer move to my subordinates. This can make up for their lack in strength and have the qualifications to participate in my battles. What a pity that I lost so much manpower before this. The complete content of Red Lotus, True Inheritance was extremely plentiful and indeed worthy of being Red Lotus Demon Venerable's True Inheritance. But Fang Yuan was still slightly disappointed. The thing he had most expected was some kind of method or a shortcut to pull a fast one and destroy Fate Gu. However, Red Lotus Demon Venerable did not leave behind such things. Even in the memory left by Red Lotus Demon Venerable, it only portrayed his experiences of becoming an immortal venerable in his regretful life later on. As for how he refined Spring-Autumn Cicada or how he invaded Heavenly Court and injured Fate Gu, there were no memories of them. The memories had directly skipped to Red Lotus Demon Venerable constructing the Red Lotus Stone Island after becoming a venerable. What was the deeper meaning behind such an arrangement? Fang Yuan had inquired before he consumed Red Lotus, true meaning. The reply of Red Lotus, true meaning was, there was no shortcut to destroying Fate Gu. Even if Red Lotus Demon Venerable had exploited some kind of shortcut back then, that shortcut no longer existed now. Don't underestimate Heavenly Court. If there was any shortcut, be extra careful as it should be Heavenly Court's trap. As for why Red Lotus Demon Venerable did not leave behind more memories, Red Lotus, true meaning did not have an answer. He only gave speculation. He might not have wanted to point you towards a specific direction because it could easily lead to misunderstandings. Whether or not to destroy Fate Gu is your own choice. Fang Yuan asked, where are the other Red Lotus Stone Islands? Red Lotus, true meaning did not know. However, this reply was within Fang Yuan's expectation. If every Red Lotus Stone Island could mark the other islands' locations, they would have already been taken by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable or Heavenly Court. To prevent such a situation from happening, Red Lotus Demon Venerable specially constructed each Red Lotus Stone Island separately without the ability to sense the others' locations. Fate Gu must be destroyed. A Heavenly Court with or without Fate Gu were two completely different concepts. If Heavenly Court successfully restored Fate Gu, although Fang Yuan would not be bound by the shackles of fate, other people or beings in the world would be influenced or even manipulated by fate. At that time, Fang Yuan's enemies would be everyone and everything besides him. This was slightly exaggerated, but it was that serious. Another more important reason was that Fate Gu's existence was the greatest obstacle to Fang Yuan's pursuit of eternal life. Fate Gu did not allow revival, it stated that all living beings must die. Thus, no matter what, Fang Yuan would have to destroy Fate Gu. Red Lotus Demon Venerable might have already deduced this, so he was not worried about Fang Yuan's motivation. Chapter 1680, Advancing Immortal Gu. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Mini Central Continent. Dark clouds covered the sky as thunder rumbled and lightning flashed. Fang Yuan's Time Path clone was standing high in the sky. He was observing the Gu refinement process cautiously to prevent any accidents. Under the dark clouds, the originally wide plain was now filled with deep craters. Bolts of lightning struck the ground, smashing the earth and creating half-spherical craters. The soil inside the crater was refined into a ceramic-like structure with smoke rising up from them. The time is right, my main body should be making a move. The Time Path clone just had this thought when countless lightning bolts converged together into one enormous lightning bolt. Boom! The deep blue lightning bolt resembling a heavenly pillar struck a white boulder at the center of the plain fiercely. Instantly, the white boulder was split into pieces by the lightning bolt, countless fragmented rocks flew out everywhere. The lightning was incomparably fierce, it had suddenly converged together and vanished just as suddenly. The white boulder that was the size of a hill exploded, but a small Gu worm floated in the air. The Gu worm was in the form of a butterfly with various colors, it was man as before immortal Gu. I finally succeeded after failing 6 times, not bad, not bad. Fang Yuan's Time Path clone was exulted upon seeing this. Man as before came from Tai Bai Yun Shang, its origin could be traced back to Purple Mountain True Monarch. The original man as before immortal GU was only rank 6, which was only effective in healing rank 6 GU immortals and had barely passable effects on rank 7, often failing in its activation. Its effect on rank 8 was even more abysmal. Fang Yuan could use it effectively because of his sovereign immortal body's characteristic. Different kinds of Dao marks did not conflict with each other. But now that he was currently rank 8, rank 6 man as before was clearly too weak. But now, man as before immortal GU was successfully advanced from rank 6 to rank 7. Fang Yuan's time path clone inspected it carefully and soon discovered the difference between rank 7 man as before and the rank 6 version. They both had the shape of a butterfly, but the rank 7 man as before was much more dazzling. Moreover, there was a change in the butterfly's body, it looked like a tiny naked and pale person. Although rank 8 man as before was more suitable for Fang Yuan, he was currently satisfied with advancing it to rank 7. Refining rank 8 immortal GU would need countless cultivation resources which Fang Yuan currently did not have the ability to bear. Back then, old ancestor Shui Hu had almost emptied out his accumulation to refine rank 8 fortune rivaling heaven, every member of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land had complained about it. What's more, old ancestor Shui Hu had cultivated for much longer than Fang Yuan in this life. This was unless Fang Yuan spent his entire fortune like selling Dang Hun Mountain, Luopo Valley, Reverse Flow River, or Wisdom GU to exchange for countless resources. But that was not worth the loss. Man as before might be a superior GU, but it was not a crucial GU worm like Spring-Autumn Cicada. Fang Yuan did not have the extravagant hope of refining rank 8 immortal GU. He intended to advance most of his rank 6 immortal GU to rank 7. Because of the high quantity and the difficulty of GU refinement along with high failure rate, even if Fang Yuan invested all his current resources, it would hardly be enough. Fang Yuan had gained batches after batches of cultivation resources from the Grotto Heaven of the Five Shangs, Qi Clan's Grotto Heaven, the Blue Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven as well as Red Lotus, Stone Island. However, GU refinement was a bottomless pit, no matter how much investment was done, it would never be high enough. Fortunately, Fang Yuan obtained Regret GU, which he used to construct a refinement path GU formation that allowed a small portion of the GU refinement process to be done again if it failed. When Fang Yuan's time path clone took the rank 7 man as before immortal GU, the dark clouds had already vanished. The refinement path GU formation slowly activated and along with the killer move self-cleansing, they cleaned the Dao mark traces left at the scene. Next is landscape as before. The time path clone thought. In the list of GU refinement plans, man as before and landscape as before were at the top but there were still a lot more left. For example, Day GU, Self-Strength, Cooling Mountain, Strength Chi, Vajra Thought, Star Eyes, Star Thought. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU was also important. After its rank was advanced, it could greatly increase the power of Unravel Dream, which was extremely beneficial in Fang Yuan's dream path cultivation. There were also Dogshit Luck, Chi Luck, Luck Inspection, Connect Luck, and Time Luck. These Luck Path Immortal GU would also be an enormous help after they were advanced. Fang Yuan was lacking offensive methods in Luck Path, but its support function could not be neglected. Previously, Fang Yuan had used his Luck Path superiority to get rid of the pursuit of the multiple Time Path Immortal GU houses of Heavenly Court. Advancing the ranks of Immortal GU was all done by Fang Yuan's main body. The Time Path clone did not have enough qualifications because of low cultivation level. After receiving Red Lotus, True Inheritance, Fang Yuan continued to stay in Red Lotus, Stone Island. Besides him repeatedly refining GU, Bai Ningbing, Heilu Lan and so on were also moving around on the island. They exchanged pointers with each other and did their best to adapt to their future self. Under the effect of future self, their battle strength climbed to first rate or even the peak of rank 7. This was already the limit of the killer move. With his subordinate strength rising to this level, there would no longer be awkward situations like before. Next time Fang Yuan battled, these people would have the minimum qualification to take part in the battle. The regrettable thing was that Fairy Miao Yin, Lady White Rabbit, and Sixth Hare were dead. Although Fang Yuan still had several enslaved GU immortals like Qi Clan's GU immortals, these people were far less reliable than the former. They were bound by a slave agreement which could very well dissipate under the power of their future self. So, Fang Yuan did not intend to elevate them even though the future self-killer move could still be used on several more people. Advancing Immortal GU became Fang Yuan's most important project and occupied almost all of his time. Occasionally, he used Fixed Immortal Travel's killer move to teleport to the Five Shangs Grotto Heaven and continue refining the killer move heaven form. Fang Yuan had already obtained the true inheritance and was the owner of this Red Lotus Stone Island, thus he could use fixed immortal travel to travel back and forth. Before this Red Lotus Stone Island had been protected by Red Lotus Demon Venerable's strength, which prevented methods like fixed immortal travel. This was the same situation as in the immortal aperture inside the Blue Dragon Whale. Fang Yuan had already tested it, but unfortunately, he was unable to return to the Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven with fixed immortal travel. Also, Spring Autumn Cicada might have reached rank 7, which expanded its detection range, but Fang Yuan did not go to look for other Red Lotus Stone Islands. Firstly, his current strength had not increased a lot, he still needed to process his gains. Secondly, Heavenly Court was also searching in the River of Time, Fang Yuan would have to avoid them if he ran into them. Finally, Fang Yuan's rank 8 Immortal Essence reserve was still accumulating because advancing Immortal GU spent a lot of Immortal Essence. Time passed, several months went by quickly. Southern border. Boom, earth tremored and mountains shook, rocks and stones flew in all directions as an earth trench appeared. The vast aura of a wild Immortal GU spread everywhere. This wild Immortal GU has finally appeared. In the clouds, 3 GU Immortals looked at the ground with smiles on their face. Alright, let's compete according to the agreement we set earlier. Yes, earth veins are stirring more intensely and wild Immortal GU appear from time to time. We need to finish our battle quickly. The 3 GU Immortals fought fairly, the atmosphere was harmonious. The influence of Southern Border's Righteous Path Super Force Alliance was becoming increasingly larger. Previously, Wu Yong led the Southern Alliance but was unable to deal with Fang Yuan. Instead, Fang Yuan used the pretense of undergoing tribulation to plot a trap in 5 regional mountain range. But it was not like the Southern Alliance had no gains, they obtained Dao Ju's true inheritance. After Lu Weiyin rescued many Southern Border rank 7 GU Immortals from Fang Yuan's hands, he represented Paradise Earth's force and officially joined the Southern Alliance. It was perhaps due to Fang Yuan that the Southern Alliance's Righteous Path GU Immortals restrained themselves, as they had a common enemy. They were inwardly apprehensive that as Southern Border's earth veins fluctuated repeatedly and cultivation resources appeared one after the other, Fang Yuan might suddenly come to fight over them. So, Southern Alliance GU Immortals did not fight each other to death, instead their fights became controlled. Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei's brows rose up in joy when she heard the report. Dragon Palace has been found. This is good news. Lord Duke Long had all along been searching for it, and now, our Heavenly Court has discovered the Immortal GU House Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace was an extremely powerful Immortal GU house, even Heavenly Court placed great importance on it. This Immortal GU house has a deep relationship with Lord Duke Long, I should tell him this news first. When Duke Long obtained this news, he immediately brought Feng Jinhuang to Heavenly Court and handed her over to Fairy Ziwei to look after. Several days later, Duke Long returned without anything. Fairy Ziwei was surprised. Duke Long was extremely powerful. In this current world, what methods could actually obstruct him? Dragon Palace is actually surrounded by a layer of Dream Realm, I cannot enter it. Duke Long sighed. Fairy Ziwei immediately understood the reason after hearing this reply. She consoled Duke Long. Lord Duke Long, you do not need to worry, the formation is already ready, it can use the strength of the whole of Heavenly Court's Grotto Heaven to suppress Spectral Soul. We will soon obtain his Dream Path research results. Duke Long laughed joyfully and said, good, 3 times. Spectral Soul's Dream Path research results naturally referred to the pure Dream Reality Seeker physique. With this method, Heavenly Court could condense dream realms into pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies, the dream realm surrounding Dragon Palace would be easily removed. That demon Fang Yuan has made no move recently? Duke Long asked. Fairy Ziwei shook her head. Ever since he escaped from the River of Time, there has been no news of him. Currently, all 5 regions are facing frequent movements of earth veins, with Southern Border's situation being the greatest. Countless cultivation resources are being churned out. I really hoped he tried to loot these resources and gave us the opportunity to track him. But unfortunately, it is like he has completely disappeared. I have been using Wisdom Path methods to analyze every bit of information but have not been able to find his traces. Duke Long nodded. Continue to pay attention to him. Even though this demon has reached rank 8, he has to face stronger calamities and tribulations now. This will definitely give him a headache. Although he can annex apertures with the sovereign immortal body, he needs rank 8 Grotto Heavens to skip grand tribulations. Furthermore, there is still the even more terrifying Myriad Tribulation. Even Fairy Ziwei felt her heart palpitate when she heard the mention of Myriad Tribulation. She nodded with a smile. Lord Duke Long is right, Feng Yuan might have advanced to rank 8, but how many rank 8 grotto heavens are there for him to annex? His cultivation won't change much within a short period of time. Currently, Feng Yuan lacks resources, especially time path resources. It will be almost impossible for him to face the arrangements we made in the River of Time. That means he will have no chance at getting Red Lotus, true inheritance. Although he escaped before, his immortal essence expenditure was extremely huge and nearly all his trump cards were exposed. He needs to quickly accumulate rank 8 immortal essence, because relying on immortal essence stones has too low efficiency. He can only rely on his immortal aperture's self-production. But the immortal aperture's self-production requires time. If he quickens the rate of time of his immortal aperture, he will also accelerate the arrival of his calamities and tribulations as well. Once he has no more immortal apertures to annex, he will have to face tribulations. The time he undergoes his tribulation will be the time our heavenly court takes his life. Fairy Ziwei's eyes glistened brightly when she said this. Duke Long nodded, looking at Fairy Ziwei with praise. With you taking charge of heavenly court, I am at ease.